All right, folks, welcome back to the Cruz's Corner podcast. We are brought to you by GEMS Marketing Development, as well as Por Vida Penis Tattoos. For those of you out there who do not know, we got one of the best penis artists in the entire state, Angelo Sottosanti.
Hey, man. How's it going? It's so good to be here. This trend is just coming up in the world, the penis tattooing, all that kind of stuff. It's a little weird at first, it's a little taboo, as a lot of people would say. It's a little less conservative, but, people out here want to get their dicks tattooed, and that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, so you're part of the new wave.
Exactly, the new fucking wave. You can actually follow me at dicktattooer.porvita.forlife@angelo.com. So,
follow me there.
And it's about time.
Yeah. So, it's a pleasure to be here. My dick has tattoos. I think yours should too.
This podcast is also brought to you by Grant's Buff Forearms. You want buff forearms? Be like Grant.
Yes. And also, what they don't tell you though is it is a side effect of no pecs. So.
Well, the thing about having those Grant forearms is that the downside is that you get a lot of scrapes on your knuckles when they drag on the ground.
Yeah, and a small wing.
That too.
See us at dicktattoos.com. We don't have that problem. Our wieners are so big. There's so much to tattoo.
He actually gave me some nice shading, and it looks 3 times bigger now.
Well, that's it. There's a minimum length requirement and girth.
Exactly.
If the dick's too small, they won't tattoo it.
There we go.
Yeah, so I had to get hard, but it worked out. I barely made it. Some extends.
Let's get right into it, guys. We haven't all been together in a long time. It's the first time we've come back together. We were sitting in the living room talking a lot of shit, reminiscing a lot of funny ass stories, and then we figured, why not record it? So
here we are 2 hours later.
What
the fuck, dude? No, keep rolling. Hey, just fucking. Hey, this is 1.5. It's fine.
I didn't know it had like a little.
I saw on your face. You were like, "Fuck this guy, Sottosanti, huh?"
First and last podcast, bro.
It's Santi, bitch.
Well, like a clown, I amuse you.
No, you said it. No, you said it. Funny how? Anyway, sorry.
Are we back?
Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, watch your fucking feet.
I appreciate it. I forgive you. For now. So let's get right into it. The whole thing that really got this going is we were talking about old sexcapades. Sorry, Tiffany, this might be awkward for you, but let's just start at the beginning. It all started when Angelo lost his virginity in the woods to some fucking what happened?
In the woods? What?
Did you fuck some chick like in like a park or something?
No, I mean I definitely did that. No, my virginity case is a lot actually. I mean, I wouldn't say worse, but it was.
Let me tell this. No.
Yeah.
Angelo's
So without giving any names, just in case this go viral one time, we'll say NK. Initials NK. Was blowing all my friends.
And he's like, I kind of want to get in on this.
Exactly. She had a brief appearance at our high school, DHHS. You guys can figure that out.
I'm not gonna say the state, but it's in CAUSA. You can put that together however you want.
But anyways, she was a whore, and I love whores. So I heard she was blowing all these guys and stuff, and I said, you know what? Like, I want to lose my virginity. I want to get blown too. So next thing you know, I give her whatever she wants to hear about, having a boyfriend and stuff like that. So first things first, she blows me in. I'll use another. I'll use more initials. CN's house in Harbor Lane. She blew me in his garage, and I blew such a fat load. I was just like, oh my god, this chick deserves. Like, I wanted to lose my virginity to her. So again, in Harbor Lane, probably like a few weeks after that.
HL. Keep it in the
HL.
HLDP.
We went to my buddy TB's house, who I was hanging out with a lot, and I brought her upstairs. We made out. I put a condom on. I slipped it inside her for no more than about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and I blew my load, and that's how I lost my virginity. I never talked to her again. And that's my romantic story for that. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh my God. Okay.
That was touching.
Yeah, that was like
super deep, right?
that was some rom-com shit.
I like how you guys were like dating for years and then finally decided to make the next. Oh wait, that wasn't you at all.
I think that was.
I think that was me. Oh shit.
Yeah. Okay, we're on to Grant now.
No. Let's skip the 3 years. Or let's use initials that everyone knows, and then.
Nobody knows if this went viral. Millions of people would never know who I was talking about besides people who were involved.
Yeah, it would get leaked.
Yeah, you mean
Quick.
all like
No, you just turn off
500
comments.
plus
You just
kids
turn
who
off
went to
comments.
school.
And you narrow it down by saying Dana Point and Harbor Lane. They're like, wait, I knew a kid that lived there.
You just said Dana Point, Grant.
Hold on, hold
no
on.
one knew where we were.
Let's
until-
specify. First of all, if this goes viral and there's any coastal cities, how many fucking neighborhoods are probably called Harbor fucking Lane? How many? How many, Grant?
3 years later, they're like, turns out just one.
Just that one in DP.
Anyway,
CA.
Actually, technically, it's not even.
USA.
I don't even know if it's a DP.
Without you,
Technically.
without you giving it away, let's
Okay.
talk about your story, your virginity story.
Yeah, give it to us.
My-
It's so romantic.
Mine's not great at all, dude.
Come on,
Mine's
Grant. I've been wondering.
typical,
I've been spending all these years.
Dated a
wondering.
girl in high school, then fucking finally had sex, and it was really awful. She cried. It was great.
Except for me.
And, yeah, and then I left.
So you not using the hard R, her. Why did she cry, Grant? Was it not consensual?
No! What? I mean, yes! Wait a minute. What? No, just, women...
Is this a
when-
confession?
Oh, shit. Dude, this is bad. This actually can't go. We're gonna have to skip this first part, because I don't want to get fucking...
Has it been 10 years yet, or are we still within the statute of limitations?
Dude, I mean, it's been a while. I think we're out.
Grant's turning red.
Hey, you're right. We're fucking good. I'm just kidding.
Hey, we're chilling.
Well, I'd do a year. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Anyway, let's talk about cruises. That was the entirety of mine, so...
Oh God.
Your turn, Cruz. Let's talk about yours. I don't think we were around during that time, so.
Now, so I had my first kiss with this girl in 8th grade, and then when we were freshmen in high school, she started dating some guy at a different high school. I think he was like a sophomore or junior or something like that. He was an older guy, and then older than us. And then they broke up the summer between our freshman and sophomore year, and we had a mutual friend who had a birthday party. So we were both at our mutual friend's birthday party over the summer, and she was on the rebound. Now, innocent me over here, unbeknownst to me, I've just been pining over her this whole time. It's like, you're the first girl I ever kissed. I love you. So I'm just like sitting there always talking to her and stuff, and then we like snuck a bottle of rum into the restaurant where we were at that friend's birthday. And so we're getting drunk at the restaurant, and there was a limo. A limo came and dropped us off, and the limo was going to take us home. So everyone's drunk, leaving the restaurant, and at some point, she's like, "Let's go to the back of the limo." So we go to the back of the limo, and that's where I lost my virginity to her. She had already lost it to her boyfriend. And then, naturally, because I was the rebound, midway through losing my virginity to her, she starts just sobbing and calls her best friend, who I had a big crush on, like 6 months before that.
It's a recipe for fucking disaster.
Yeah, so I'm losing my virginity to this girl.
I'm fucking this guy, but I'm just thinking about Shane, or whatever the fuck his name is.
She starts crying. We'll call him A. We'll call him A for now, Mr. A. So she's thinking about Mr. A, sobbing, calls the friend that I had a crush on, who also didn't like me. So 2 girls don't like me, and they're basically conspiring about it. And I'm just sitting here with a chubby that didn't get to fully come. And then the best part is...
Or as we like to say, a fucking cruise cumber.
a dissatisfied, non-discharged cruise cumber in my pants. And we
Ready for battle.
ready for anything, man. So everyone pours out of the limousine because this girl's crying and having a meltdown. And then these I'll never
See, it's
forget
not that
this.
uncommon for them to cry during sex, okay?
That's true. That's true.
Out of pure disappointment.
Yeah, dude.
Can't say it's ever happened, man.
She was disappointed.
With a fucking hog like that.
Yeah.
With a cock like this, huh?
So that's quite an experience, your first experience having sex with somebody crying and basically crying because you're not the person they wish they were having sex
Hey,
with.
brother, right here.
And I'll never forget this because this meant so much to me because we pour out the limo, and for whatever reason, because this is how kids are. Someone points at me and is like, "Oh my God, look, he still has a boner," and everyone starts laughing at me.
Dude.
And then one of the, this is what
So somebody was on fucking boner control and was like, "Hey, Cruz has got a cruise cumber. What the fuck's going on around here?"
the boner police called me out, and then I don't forget who the person was, but I thank them so much because they were like, "Yeah, he just got done having sex and got interrupted in the middle of it. Of course, he still has a boner." And I was like,
And everyone's like,
"Thank you."
"Go Cruz, go Cruz."
I don't know about that.
The guy, he was fucking starstruck. It was like, I don't know what to say, and somebody just had his back randomly. It was like, of course he has a fucking boner. He just got done fucking. What do you mean? He's got blue balls.
Dude,
Exactly.
if that isn't like a not all heroes wear capes kind of moment, I don't know what it is.
Hey, so whoever you are out there, you were at KM's birthday. I thank you for that, and yeah. I
Bleep this out
promptly-
later, Cody Marr.
No, it wasn't him. It wasn't Cody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, so I promptly went home and sat in my garage and cried. So that's how I lost my virginity.
Fun.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll just skip over Tiffany.
I think that's fair. My life's depressing as shit, so I think we can just leave it.
You know what? No, let's hear it.
Yeah, let's
let's
get
hear
some-
it. Let's get some real context on this. Let's go.
Yeah, that's true. Let's get a female.
Virginity.
Lord.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
It was my uncle. He was high on meth.
Oh, dark humor. Dark humor. Now we gotta rate this fucking podcast rated fucking R now. Now nobody can watch it if they
I'm
want.
pretty sure it was fucking MA from the start.
All the kids are asleep now. They made it this far, but it's too much.
All right, let's hear it.
All right.
How old? First.
Grammy said-
Yeah, how old first?
I was 14. He was older than me.
He was 37. Whoa, she's thinking about it.
19. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, she's about to start crying.
Nah, it's fine. It's all good. It's in the past. It is what it is. I got you now better than anybody, so it's fine.
Oh, shit.
BT is his initials. It is what it is. I was 14. I was way too fucking young. I was way
He's-
too depressed, way too damaged. And I'm pretty sure we ended up fucking in his bed in a room that he was renting at his friend's house who lived with his parents, and his friend and the friend's girlfriend were in the bed like adjacent to us.
It sounds like a winner.
Well, I mean, you know what? It was
Hey,
better
he
than
was
being
renting.
home. I'll tell
he had
you
his
that.
own place.
true.
At 19? Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Hey, it was half a room, and that was better than what I got.
He had
better than
his
where I
own
was living.
mattress they found outside of 7-Eleven.
So, you know, it is what it is. I did the deed, and I can't fully recall, but it was either the first time or the next time after that I did text my best friend and was like, hey, I just had sex, and she was like, hey, good job, and I was like, yep, later.
Did you leave him crying? Was anyone crying?
So hold on. Just out of curiosity, is like when girls lose their virginity, is it like more of a big deal than when guys would lose their virginity? Like for instance, like, you know, if when I lost my virginity, I was like, oh my god, I'm a fucking man now. Like I like fuck you. You didn't lose your virginity. Get the fuck out of here. Like you didn't lose your virginity. Get the fuck out of here. Like,
That's why everyone on your speed dial. You're like, who haven't I told yet? You're like about to tell your history teacher the next day. Like,
but a real genuine question is like for a girl, is it more about like what the guy is like about? Like, is if he's a winner, are you considered like, oh awesome, like you did a great job as far as losing your virginity, or is it like a guy where it's like, fuck it, bro, I just put my wiener in something and like, dude, I'm a man now. Like now life is so different. Like I slipped my weenie in a little beaver, dude, and I'm good. You know.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to ask me because I'm a damaged ass bitch. So,
Actually, I feel like you are the best person to ask this question too, because someone might be humble and go, "Oh yeah, I think that I should find the man that I love." And so give me your honest opinion as someone who's, you know, been through bullshit. Is it really about, as a woman, is it really about like finding a guy who's like, oh my god, like he's the textbook guy you want to lose your virginity to, or is it like same as guys where it's like, fuck it, we just lost our virginity and, you know, it is what it is.
or just like peer pressure.
straight up, I would say it's more. It was. I don't want to call it peer pressure, but like it was one of those situations that it
He
just
asked
was
more
what
than
it
once.
was. We were like cuddling. His dick was hard. You know, I didn't not pull my panties down. You know what I'm saying? So it just was what it was.
So it was totally consensual, and you obviously wanted it to happen.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
She's like, is this a statement? Is this fucking court right now? It's like, I mean, I guess.
It is what it is. I don't know.
I
It
feel
wasn't
like-
all magical. It wasn't. It's not like. I don't know. I wasn't expecting anything magical when I was like 14, whatever. When I lost it, I wasn't like thinking about like, oh, I hope I find like the man of my dreams and I get married and da 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 da.
So let's get really crazy deep right now. Since we're on
Oh,
the podcast.
Angelo.
Let's get crazy deep. So as men, I'm not saying everybody agrees to this, but like, there's a thing that people will think that not men, but just generally as humans, we're here to procreate, right? So, like, do you think it's a weird perception that guys automatically feel like they need to fuck something, for instance, as opposed to girls who might think, like, it's like peer pressure, like they feel like they have to? Where does that sense come in? Like, why does it feel like guys are more about, like, hey, let's go fuck this chick, and then girls are more like, oh, like, I might have to let him do this. Or, like,
You know my thought on that.
you know, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm not
I think so.
I'm not dissing women. Like,
No.
I'm a guy who's a whore. Like, I have a girlfriend. Like, I would never cheat on her. I'm just saying, like, beforehand, I was definitely somebody who would go out of my way to fuck women for sure, and not sometimes in a disrespectful way, sometimes in not. So I guess my question is what separates that ideology? Like, you know, we're here to procreate, but it feels like girls. I'm not disrespecting anybody. I'm just saying, like, feel like it's a peer pressure thing where they feel like they have to, as opposed to guys, they want to go out and they want to fuck girls and they think it's cool and they want it's almost like, think about it in a modern business way. It's like franchising, right? like you fuck a girl and you get her pregnant. It's like, yeah, it's horrible, but it's almost like in Fight Club. We all like Fight Club, right?
Yeah,
they say
you open up a new shop.
yeah, his dad was like modern day franchising. Like you have a kid with a random girl. Okay, yeah, you have a kid, but like you're setting up. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're setting up a business from. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I got one in Pennsylvania. I got one in North Dakota. One in
exactly.
Southern California.
So I'm not saying that
Opening up in
is
Texas.
my point of view. I guess to get into a deep conversation is why does it seem like when you ask a girl when they lost their virginity, it seems more like peer pressure as opposed to a guy who wants to just go have sex with girls?
I'm gonna say from the guy's point of view too. I feel like it's also because of people like you and me, where we're like, I fucking lost my virginity, fuck you, you know? And then so we have to pressure the next person we see, like, come on, bitch, let's fucking have sex.
but-
You know? Like, come on, my friend Angelo did.
But I think we all agree it's a guy thing.
Yeah, of course.
male
It's a very
perspective, yeah.
male perspective.
Yeah,
to
there's
sit
not-
there and say, like,
yeah.
oh, we fucked that girl. Like I'm not gonna, there is no,
Sometimes we.
there was no spiritual or like loving connection between the woman that I lost my virginity to at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, certainly you were
Okay.
solely fucking her for the purpose of fucking her.
Exactly.
To lose your
To
virginity.
And it
Yes.
was like, it's almost like at the end of the day, it comes down to really like a male, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a natural,
Like a biological drive. Or
like you feel
evolutionary.
like you feel like you gotta fuck something. You know, I don't feel like that anymore. I don't feel like that anymore. But that's why that question was raised. Is just like, yeah. And again, like I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not trying to be a
For
dick.
sure.
I'm just asking a question because I genuinely want to know. Because again, like I don't feel like this. It's just one of those things that I want to talk about to get out there. You know, like
Yeah.
why does it feel so different naturally as a male to be like I want to fuck these girls and whatever, and for girls it feels more of like a not an obligation, but like it's like you said, it's like
Sure.
a peer pressure thing.
No
I
worries.
guess.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking for all women, so if this goes viral, please don't hate me. Like I'm just saying that's what it seems like in most stories, you know?
Than what I would say. I mean, when I try to think back to who I was and what I thought at Fort fucking teen, like very young, it wasn't really anything about like who like love. I mean, I definitely loved the guy. I definitely like imagined that I might get married to him one day or whatever, and da 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 da. But it was also just a matter of like I was aware that that's what humans did. I was aware that sex was a thing. I definitely got horny. I definitely masturbated.
Like you felt all of,
I
like the
definitely...
hormones of that situation for sure.
yeah, exactly. Like you know, like like I said, like I definitely got horny. I definitely was like, I know what sex is, and I'm aware that that's a thing, and apparently it's a good deal and whatever. But I don't know. I feel like just in the perspective of like how females feel pressured versus how men feel like it's like climbing Mount Everest, like it's their accomplishment to lose their virginity. It's more
adding another notch to your belt.
it's more
like a Boy Scout belt.
It's a rite of passage, you know?
Sure.
And like when a guy looks at you, like you know when somebody didn't lose their virginity, you know when someone did. Like when somebody looks at you and goes, have you lost virginity yet? And you're all
Yeah. Bro, yeah, lost your virginity. Like when you smell fear on somebody.
It's like her boobs felt like bags of sand.
What are you saying?
I don't know. It just, like looking back, it just was, and I don't know how undamaged girls feel, or girls who had healthy relationships.
How did you feel then? Like as a 14-year-old, what was like where you're like, this is, I mean, I don't know.
For
what
me,
was your drive?
Okay, for Tiffany personally, for my life, and blah 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 blah. It was like just another thing that I did, and I felt like it was something that like I was just waiting for it to happen, and it happened, and then when it did, I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is.
Did you build it up in your head beforehand, or did you think like, did it meet expectations, or was it like completely strange?
Oh God, I don't know. Strange for sure. I don't know about expectations.
Because I remember being at it, like when I had sex, and I was like, I thought the vagina was gonna be where my dick is, and then you're like still going and going and going, and you're like, where the fuck is this thing? You know, when you're like trying.
You're all swiveling your sword,
Yeah.
trying to get
Well, you,
put it in the sheath.
you think that
So I was
think
wondering,
that
like,
the way sex works is that you're gonna like penetrate like this,
It's
but you don't
not.
realize that you gotta like go
Yeah.
underneath, and up
You gotta
under
have
her
a-
stomach,
you gotta
you
have
know.
a cashew dick.
Yeah.
Well, and
the
and that's the
reverse
thing.
bridge,
I had no idea girls didn't have a taint. Like they have no taint. It's just vagina
Boy,
asshole.
no,
It's
there's
like
a
this
taint,
big.
It's a little
bitch.
slick of
No,
skin.
yeah, it's like
I think what he
tiny.
means is women don't have a gooch. Women have
Oh,
a taint.
gooch. Sorry,
Like,
gooch.
A man
Hold on,
gooch,
women definitely have a gooch, and once your girl has a kid, you will see that gooch, and sometimes it rips. Sometimes the woman.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it
sometimes-
becomes one thing.
Sometimes the woman will shit.
It's
My-
like
my-
this, okay? It's like this.
a little,
It's there.
It's a little.
It's enough to where
It's
we.
like a piece of chewing gum.
Hey, it's
just like
it's
that big.
it's enough to where we miss often. Where it's like you're fucking a girl, and then you're like, oh fuck, you
How
know?
many times have you heard that? You're like, wrong hole.
Yeah. How? That's
I'm
like a common.
I know, bitch. I know it's wrong.
Let me just get
It ain't the wrong hole for me.
There's a reason that's a common expression. But anyway,
Give me some.
so just to go back, Tiffany, was there any expectation where you're like, that was not as what I thought. That's not what I thought was going on. You know what I mean? Like,
That is not what I expected.
yeah.
This is not what I expected to happen today.
Okay, so that's
it
what balls
was
look
not
like.
like the porn I had seen up until that time. That's for sure.
You didn't deliver a pizza, then you start fucking.
I don't exactly trust the porn you were watching. I think there was a lot of obscene shit going on in porn.
I definitely watched a lot of shit I shouldn't have seen.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I mean, I don't know. It just was like, it was one of those things. Like I was definitely like a very angry kid, and therefore like when your hormones are just developing, and like when all that stuff is going on, and you're hella depressed and hella neglected and all that shit, like you definitely like develop fucked up. And like with all that anger, and you just want to release, so it's like I knew what sex was, and I knew all that shit, so I'm like, maybe this will be that release that I fucking am needing, you know?
Like trying a cigarette.
Sure, yeah, but exactly, but I knew, but like I was like, oh, I don't want to smoke. That's an addiction that I don't like. Blah blah blah.
But sex can be an addiction too.
For sure.
So I guess just to kind of, I think we covered all. Of
Yeah,
the-
that's fair.
So let's just end it with this, and then with this, Tiffany. Let's say this video goes viral and there's millions of women watching this. What would you, as far as yourself, have told Tiffany in that time of being 14 and wish you would have known? Is there any regrets, or is there anything that you wish you would have known, whether it be fucking scientifically wise, as much as far as it may hurt it? I don't know. Whatever. What would you, if you were the parent you wish you had, what would you have wished to prepare yourself for that kind of moment? What would you tell, let's say you had a little sister or a daughter, what would you want them to, what would your advice to them be?
Well, first, I definitely would hope that they wouldn't be 14 seeking some kind of attention and reassurance from a
I like that.
19-year-old.
I like that.
I definitely hope that I would provide love for my little sister, or just a friend, a younger friend, or a daughter. Of course, a
to
daughter.
feel like you wouldn't have to go do something like that.
To feel like you don't have to look for the attention anywhere, and the second you see it in a broken older person, that you're like, finally, like, that's what I need.
Yeah, or like what I shared with you guys at lunch, like me wanting to have sex with all these types of girls.
it wasn't real. Like, yeah, it was a gratifying thing to be able to tell my friends, like, yeah, I banged so many girls or whatever. But really, it was me trying to get a kind of love that I was missing out at
Exactly.
home. You know, like, even
It
though
was
it sounds kind of
attention.
weird, everybody, whoever would listen to this would understand. Like, when you are missing out a certain type of love, you think you can get it through like sexual things. Like you try to make up for it in those types of things. You know what I mean?
Sex is so universal, and when you're like us, who you just crave attention because you didn't get the type of attention you needed,
Yeah,
or just the
sure.
regular healthy emotion, like developmental attention that you required as a human. Like, you just crave it anywhere, and sex is so universal that that's where it comes from.
Exactly.
So
I agree.
you think that, like, oh, if I just make out with it, like, as a female, like okay,
Just give him what he wants.
I would really like to get Cruz's perspective about sex and virginity and the gatekeeping and everything, because I really like the way that he says it and stuff. But
Well, he's got the key to the cruise cumber, so.
well, there's that too. Well, but there's just this thing that, like, as a female, like, we're not thinking like, I just want to get fucked. Like, maybe some females for sure, but like, that's not the deal. It's like, we just want the attention, we want the comfort, we want the love, the support, the
You
emotional.
want that like
yeah, we
that
want someone who will listen
time
to
period
us
where
and
somebody is like
da-da-da-da.
you
Lets me finish my stories.
And he doesn't
You're-
fucking
you're
get
almost-
mad when I
you're
tell
almost-
him, blah,
you're almost
blah.
like craving the time period where a guy is trying to gain that access to you, almost like
Sure.
like
Okay.
like I don't want to say the attention, because some girls don't want the attention. They crave like the listening aspect, like
Yeah.
and what's fucked up is being
Well,
a
but that is
person.
attention.
Well, as being a person who's someone who could like convince a girl to let me have sex with her, like
Yes,
I was
convince a
definitely on the asshole side, but like I knew what a girl wanted to hear to let me do what I wanted. Am I in that same headspace? No. Could I use it to my advantage? Yes, but now, you know, I love my girl very much, so if she ever sees this, you know, love you very much. But
I don't think I ever had that ability.
but that's a good thing though, because it revolves off issues. It's not
Yes.
it's almost like a way to manipulate.
Yeah, it's almost like reflective that you like had your shit together, you know,
Yes.
like not you developed
didn't
that
need to
skill
do
in
that.
response to how badly you need to feel wanted. You know?
Exactly.
Yes.
And so now being older, it was like my way of being accepted that my friends thought I was the coolest person in the world because I fucked a whole bunch of girls. Like, that's not cool anymore. I don't give a fuck if you fucked any. I don't care if you're gay and you fuck a whole bunch of guys. I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? So for me,
It's almost
very,
weird. Like the higher the like when you're younger, the higher the number, it's cool. But then
Yeah.
the older you get, the higher the number. Like the curve.
The
changes
more
and you're
lost
like-
you were.
Yeah, you're
almost.
like, oh,
Yeah.
you fucked that many
Yeah.
people. That's kind of weird. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
Red flag.
For sure, and that's where I was at. It was just a very weird time where like I was lost and like I could openly honestly say I wasn't receiving the love that I wanted at home, so I was looking at it in different ways. So I was fucking all these girls, and like it was my period of like that's when I was receiving what I wanted. You get me? Like it was like nobody can tell me what to do here. Like I'm receiving the attention I want, even as a guy. You know what I mean?
Okay, let me say this one thing then. So, like, talking about peer pressure and stuff like that is like, so for me, when I was at home and when I was 14, whatever, 13, 14, 15, whatever, I did not want to be home. I wanted to be anywhere that was not home. I know some people can relate. I know you can relate. And a lot of times, straight up, and a lot of times attention from a dude, so as me, attention from a dude was nice. It's nice to cuddle. It's nice to feel fucking whatever, safe. It's nice to feel like if I need.
The word is secure.
The word is secure. It's nice to feel like if I needed somebody to protect me from the abuse that I lived through, it would be nice that I could maybe try to call this guy if whatever. Yeah. And a lot of times, because I didn't want to go home that night or I didn't want to go home that week, if I could spend a whole weekend at somebody's house and not be home, that was ideal. And if that meant that I had to let that guy put his dick in me, I'm gonna do that because I don't want to go home. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's not the peer pressure per se.
Small price
it's
to
as
pay.
the same. Yeah, it's a small price to pay because it's a connection that I don't have and I'd like to have, and I don't have to go home.
It only lasts a couple minutes, whereas you're miserable the whole time you're at home.
Exactly. I can do with a few minutes of physical pain versus the hours of emotional struggle. You know.
Well, let me
Cumber theory.
bring it back to what was the original question, because I know that my response was directed to that original question.
So my question was, and it might be a little different now, but my question I guess was, you know, why do us men naturally feel like we need to put our dick in something
for lack of a better word,
okay,
feel
okay.
to feel almost like accepted, to where women women feel more of like a peer pressure, where it's like this guy is like hounding them to like fuck them, and they go, yeah, okay, I'm down.
And why this isn't necessarily your exact question, but why in general it's a question that's asked a lot. Why is it okay for men to fuck a lot of women, but it's not okay for women to fuck a lot of men? Why is it
yes, it's that question, but at the same time, it is more of like the natural, like gene. Like it's not so much like a society thing. Like I don't think it's wrong that women now want to fuck guys the same way guys want to fuck women. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. My question is just as a natural thing. I don't know if you want to call it a hormone or whatever. Why is it that we are so psyched? Like, hey man, fucked a girl, or we did this, we did that, and then girls, it's more of like,
Well,
I felt more peer pressure to do it than actually me wanting to do it. Because whether guys are in love with women or not, most of the time, not speaking for you gentlemen who have that 1% where you're so in love and you bang the girl of your lifetime.
Allegedly.
But for those of us who didn't have that, which is most of them, we had sex with women who we really didn't care about, and we just lost our virginity because we felt like we needed to. So for women, it's more of like a peer pressure thing. When they're done, they go, I felt like I had to.
Yeah, and I was gonna say too, like, I feel with men, it's just because competition is such a thing that's just embedded in our culture and like sports and things like that.
Culture or DNA?
DNA, because we
Okay,
competed for food, competed for women, competed for things.
So you'll
forever.
notice that that's the thing that keeps repeating here is that you're talking about natural urges, but then in the same sentence you'll bring up the social pressure, like about like competing with each other. And that's the thing is that we're social beings.
Yeah.
So we always exist in multiple people societies, whether it's 5, 10, 20 people or 10, 20,000, 30,000 people, a million people, whatever. So
Same social construct, but you're saying like the same like hierarchy almost.
well, basically it's inseparable from our nature that we're going to have natural urges that have to compete with / mix with, find some way to come into compromise with the societal urges.
Yeah.
So you'll notice that through all societies over all time, no matter what society you go to, with some exceptions, although people point to the exceptions like they're the rule these days because, there's a lot of agendas going around. But in general, men are encouraged to procreate a lot, whereas women are shamed for procreating a lot. And a lot of women, especially
I
today,
agree.
look to that like that is some form of like
Agree,
oppression.
definitely.
Unless you live in an oppressive society where rape is allowed and or the norm, women are the gatekeepers to who gets to procreate. So what we've been getting told since about the 60s when the birth control pill became normal, and it was okay, it finally became like a thing that women could have sex with men, get pregnant, and then still not have that child. Up until that point, basically it was a known consequence that it was pretty likely if you had sex with a man, you were going to get pregnant from him. So it made it a lot more important that you chose carefully what man you had sex with. But once the birth control pill comes into play, now women can have sex guilt-free, consequence-free, which a lot of them look to as a good thing. They think that is freeing them. They're no longer being oppressed by the requirement of pregnancy.
For sure.
However, unfortunately, because a lot of people argue that this isn't the case, but when men and women are different and they have different responsibilities, and we're seeing this in both sexes these days, but women have been told by society for the last 50 years, 70 years, that it is no longer their responsibility to decide who gets to procreate or not. And the fact is that it just is. You can get pregnant. Men can't. So the reason why societally for thousands of years across thousands of cultures, why women get shamed for having sex with a bunch of different men is because you're supposed to be the gatekeeper who decides what men are worthy of having sex and procreating.
Yeah.
And when you do away with that and you decide, well, I'm just horny. I just want to have an orgasm. I just want to get fucked. It sounds all well and good, but what you're doing is you're making it so that men don't have to work for that anymore. So the quality of men goes down. The quality of men who take responsibility, who are protective, who are worthy of having sex with and procreating, that goes away. And what that does is it damages society. And that's where we're at now. We're seeing things like Tinder and these dating apps and stuff. Sex is freely
Which is about
available.
like sexual behavior more so than about like a social standpoint of what
and we
you
don't
want.
and we
something.
don't see men earning it anymore. It's
Yeah.
just a given because when sex becomes a given for women that they can just have sex with anybody without any consequences, it becomes the same thing for men. And the difference is that and this is like a common joke, I forget the comedian who says it, but the fundamental difference between men and women is that if a man goes into a crowd of women and says, "Hey, I want to fuck somebody. Will someone fuck me?" Most of them are going to say, No, or especially it depends on the quality of the man. If he's like really attractive, he's wearing a suit, looks like he has a lot of money, maybe they'll say yes. But if you're a ugly schlub who's doesn't take care of himself, he's fat, he looks like he doesn't work out, it looks like he doesn't take responsibility. I'm not naming any names. I'm not
Angelo.
I'm not pointing
Angelo
at anybody here.
still has the finest wife ever, dude.
But if you're a guy who doesn't look at, because that's the only thing we have to go off of when you don't know anything about anybody is their physical look. Is that that's the first thing you know, is that you is all I know when I look at you. I don't know your personality. I don't know your thoughts. I don't know anything. All I know is whether I find you attractive or not. If a man goes out into a crowd of women and says, "Hey, is somebody gonna fuck me?" the amount of women who are gonna say yes is very low. And we know that if a woman goes into a crowd of men,
There's gonna be a million men, even from
me,
around the block.
Me, hello?
me.
Here's my debit card.
Goes viral. Hey, there's a girl here saying she wants to fuck guys. Let's do it.
Can we do it?
Hey, let's make this a big social
Can we do it at the
party,
same
dude.
time?
Hey, call your friends and we'll call my friends and we could be friends.
Yeah,
dude.
like if you do 2 or 3 of us at a time, it'll go a lot faster. You know, like that kind of shit. So it's
How long does this offer stand?
exactly.
Straight
So my thoughts on that is that what we're seeing today, and because this has been going on for decades, and it's almost become ingrained into our societal culture, is that by and large women are rejecting their responsibility to vet what men get to procreate and what men don't,
Because they just want to fuck.
because they just want to fuck. And it's one of those things that I get where you're coming from. I get it. But
everyone gets horny. We all get that.
But then the result is lack of males who stick around. Fathers don't stick around anymore because you haven't vetted a man who actually deserves to have sex with you. You just wanted to have sex, got a quick fuck, and now the result is that you're pregnant. You either have to carry out that pregnancy, have that child, and then that be your responsibility, or it's your responsibility to get an abortion. I can get a chick pregnant and just leave. You know, like that's the difference between men and women, is that you can fuck 10 chicks in one day, get 10 of them pregnant, and it's not your problem.
Well, hold on, but we need to back up, because the way society is now, that kind of mind state, you can do that. But I know somebody, I'm not gonna drop any names, and hopefully he never sees this, but I know a guy who only has 2 kids, and one of them is 19, and the one's about to turn 18, but he owes them $60,000 in child support.
Sure, the legal system is changing.
And
that,
his driver's license has been canceled for the last 5 years. He hasn't been able to drive legally in 5 years. But like, I agree with everything you're saying. I just am saying that I'm on this weird fence where it's like I'm agreeing with you 100%, like 100% with what you're saying, because I think women are the gatekeepers for stuff like that. Like, I told my girl when my girlfriend got pregnant, believe it or not, we had a very long conversation, and I told her, I said, look, this is your body. I said, this is your choice. I said, yes, it's mine, and I appreciate you including me in it. The main things I made clear to her was, no matter what happens in the situation, I'm that kid's father. So if you cannot learn to live with me for 18 plus years, don't be with me, or we'll figure something else out. You know what I mean? Like, we had very adult conversations for what was going on. It wasn't a fucking rainbow out of my ass going, oh my God, we're going to love each other and be married. I'm going to get married to you tomorrow. No. It was, hey, if you can't deal with me for 18 plus years, maybe we shouldn't do this.
Well, the thing is, and that's a very responsible approach to take to it, but at the same time, the thing is that obviously what the attempt of the legal system is doing is trying to equalize things so that women aren't the sole carriers of this burden, that if you impregnate a woman and she carries the child to term, that you are still responsible for it financially. But no amount of money is going to replace the emotional and psychological benefit or damage that comes with not being there for them.
And I think we can account for that.
Totally.
Right?
I mean, we both, me and Angela here, both come from single parent households. I mean, I know Tiffany over here had a bad upbringing with her parents. They're both drug addicts, but at the very least they were together. Doesn't mean it made it any better.
They were divorced,
but they would do meth together all the time.
And I
in
had
the same
parents
house.
who loved me, so I'm the other side of the coin.
We didn't grow up with our dads, and there's something
Which
about that
America is beautiful.
not knowing who your dad is, what he's like. It takes a toll on you that is immeasurable. No amount of money is going to replace that. So what the legal system is trying to do is it's trying to give. Well, it's trying to give women a tool that they can use to replace or not replace, but make up for the burden of, because there is nothing you can really do. If a man impregnates you and you decide to keep that child, there's nothing you can really do about that other than maybe take his money. But no amount of money is going to replace the psychological damage that it takes on your child of that man not sticking around. For
So,
sure.
anyways, just to kind of like wrap, I like this whole thing was such a really big conversation that me and my girlfriend had, and yeah, it was a mature conversation, whatever, like how you said, but coming from experience, like, and this might sound kind of cliche because I'm sure everybody says this when they have a kid. They go, "I take being a father very seriously." I think it's very different for somebody who's been through struggles of like, I don't want to say like identity and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it really is, because you, as a young adult, we had this conversation at lunch earlier. We talked about how our grandparents, they're like superheroes, right? They're the people who we look up to, and they're the ones who put the pants on when nobody asked them to. They said they wanted to do it, right? And so with all everything going on, like what was I talking about?
The effects of not having a second parent around and how the
Second parent. Anyways, sorry.
Role models, yeah.
Sorry. Cliche things are like, you are the change that you want to see. Shit like that. Like it sounds so cliche when you're young, because you think it's all bullshit. But when you get older or when you have a kid, it's like this person's depending on me to be the example that I set for his whole entire life. It's not just for me or for my girl. It's for what if my son meets your daughter, or what if my son meets your daughter, or my daughter meets your son, or tries to get a job, or wants to own a company. Like what tools can I give them? Like I always tell people this. It's gonna sound super cheesy, but this is what I've learned: is I'm gonna give my son the foundation. The foundation is the roots and stuff, right? Like houses have a foundation where they're strong. Like in California, the foundations are built so strong, and if an earthquake happens, they're gonna be okay. There's a certain standard that there is.
Yeah, there's
right?
a legal requirement.
The legal requirement. That's the way that I feel about my parenting. I feel like they're not even just a legal aspect. I feel like a moral aspect. My kid has got to be ready for how ugly this world's gonna be. He's 5 months old, gonna be 6 months old next month. The world right now is crazy. We don't have any idea what the fuck is going on. But honestly, the government tries to tell us what's going on. Do any of us really know what the fuck is going on? I feel like someone's standing there with a little paintbrush just going, hey, let's just tell them this. Let's just tell them that. My son's going to be raised in a world that I have no idea what it's going to be about. I have no idea. I have no idea where this world is going. You know what I mean?
Well,
and I'm not scared.
And it's like
It's just more of like trying to prepare him for it.
yeah, and I'm sure every generation's probably felt that way. Like after the
Exactly,
Depression,
yeah.
World War, Vietnam, everyone's like, I don't know what the fuck's happening. Once the internet came out, they're like, okay, all bets are off. I have no idea what's happening. You know what I mean?
We really
Like
don't.
I
Your
have no
parents
idea.
and your parents went through and all of the ancestors before that went through the same. Like nobody knows really what's going on.
And that's what resonated
but
with
you
me
pretend
the
you
most.
do.
Exactly.
And then
That's
you
what
tell your
resonated
kids how
with
it's gonna be
me
all
the
right.
most was, like, look at all these old timers. Like look at all these old timers, right? Like they've been through so many things. Like the way I compare it to is like, even though our masks are such bullshit, like think about back when, I don't know, when they were wearing the fucking 2 giant things on their face and stuff like that. Like those are gonna be the pictures
Gas
that are
masks.
yeah, those are gonna be the pictures that our kids look at, and it's gonna be the same, like thinking the same. Like when we look at pictures of people back in the day wearing those things, we're like, damn, that was crazy. Now it's going to be us in 2020 when they're in 2040 or 2060 wearing
Yeah.
that, and it's going to be the same fucking thing.
And you know what?
You're gonna be like, how dumb are you? Did you know that didn't do shit? Or like whatever, maybe.
Well, I like the, and just us sitting here and talking about it isn't going to make it happen. But one thing that, as ironic or silly as it is, that really like made the most sense was a little tagline or whatever from Dave Chappelle in one of his stand-ups is how the problem that we have today, coming back to how the legal system is trying to correct for women's vulnerability to men who just impregnate them and leave, is now what they're trying to do is make it so that basically if you get pregnant with a man's child, you are entitled to his money. I get what you're saying. And I do not necessarily think that a woman doesn't have a right to choose between like abortion or anything like that. It is her body, but at the same time, her body is impregnated with the growing body of another human being.
50-50.
And if you want to have the right to sue a man for all that he's worth because he doesn't want to be there to raise the child he impregnated you with, if you want to have if you want to make sure that women are the ones who have the sole control of whether they keep that child or not, you no longer have the right to sue him for it. What if you get impregnated by a man who says, I don't want a kid? You might be pregnant with my kid, but I don't want that kid. But you decide to keep it. If you have the right to keep the child, even though I don't, I have the right to abandon the child. Yeah. I think that I'm the child of a single mom who was abandoned by his father.
Yeah.
But if he has the right to abandon me and not have any responsibility towards me, and she chooses to keep me anyways, I don't think that he should have to pay for that. It's not his fault that she decided to take
Yeah.
that turn.
Allow him to abandon it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think the only time it's probably more acceptable is when it's abandoned after years of being there. You know what I mean? Like if someone's
That's
like,
more like me.
well, and that's more like divorce too. It's like if you decide to end something, then there should be like legal requirements. Because if you were
Yes,
there and was
yes,
like,
that's a
hey,
good point.
you have to be the wife, you have to be in the kitchen, you can't go work, you have to make up. Like she's not going to be able to support that kid on her own.
So-
That's the only time where I'm just because my dad's a divorce lawyer.
Yeah,
I
there's
get
a
some
there's
of
a
those
difference
cases where
between
it's like,
separating
yeah,
when you're already
Or
married and the child's
abandoning.
already alive than
Right.
leaving before the child's even born.
Yeah.
That's
And-
a, that's a
and it is harder to get legal money from abandoned fathers than it is like the more you stay around, the more you owe.
Accountable.
Exactly.
Accountable.
For every year you weren't there, you owe.
So
Yeah,
then, so
that would
then,
be a good
this
algorithm.
this is a very like a very broad question. I don't disagree with you at all in any way. It's just my question is where does the accountability lie on? So for instance, what my question is, and I'm just asking for the argument, I guess, is because I agree that if the man doesn't agree to want to be around or whatever, like why does it fall on him? But at the same time, as a society, where do we take accountability as, like, for instance, me, like old school thinking for me thinks if you're ready to fuck, like you're ready for a child. For instance, if I have sex with a woman and I come inside of her, that's me accepting the responsibility of what might happen after, right? So where is our accountability as a society to say, okay, man, like, you know what? I don't want to have a kid, but I fucked like I wanted to have a kid. I came inside.
Real quick.
Okay, go for it.
Let me say real quick is, so as a man, you're saying if I've had sex with a woman, knowing very well that the accountability is that I'm gonna have a child. Yes, that's your perspective as a male. So as the female, I have sex with a man, knowing very well that I could have a child, but also knowing very well that he would not want to put up with it and he wants to abandon the child. That was my choice.
But this guy knows this
before or
he knows the secret to make you say yes. That's the problem.
No,
I'm
before-
just
You're
kidding.
presenting the argument like you guys had that conversation. The fact is that most people don't. Here's the thing.
So that's where I'm asking. I'm not trying to get out of line. I'm just asking.
Well, no,
As us talking right now, as 1, 2, 3, 4 people, if you three can agree on something and tell me what you think as a society, where's the accountability lie?
Well, the thing is that
The man or the woman?
the problem with the way that the law takes into account accountability with this is that, I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, but my problem is that the law assumes that men are knowing and responsible and that women are stupid. The way that question was phrased was that I, as a man having sex with this woman, knew that I might get her pregnant, but she didn't.
She had
She was going into this sex like
see, nobody
I'm
ever-
pregnant now.
nobody's ever-
What?
ever
It's like
said
no,
that.
we are.
But
There's
where's
two
her
people here.
accountability?
We're
That's what you're
exactly.
asking.
Where's
That's
the
what you're
accountability?
asking.
You are
And-
both accountable.
I would say they're both equally accountable, and if anything, I would like to say, as a woman, that if anything, it should be our accountability first and foremost, because we're the ones. It's our body and it's our choice.
And see, that's
So
look,
should
and that's
we
where
not
I'm at.
have
Man.
a
Look,
majority
look,
accountability?
coming from a guy who was raised by a mom, and you know what, she might have fucked up later on down the road, but she did very well in the very beginning stages of my preteen years. Like
She made sure
she took care of me, you know. Like, so in my head, I mean, I'm not trying to say women are stronger than men, or I think it's very equal. I think a woman could take charge and
They
be the
bring
man and the
different
woman,
things
and
to
I
the
think a
table.
guy, speaking for myself, like when my girl's gone and I take care of my son, like I feel like I'm man and woman, as fucking stupid as that might sound, but like I feel like when I'm taking care of him, like I know how to give him that like sense of like love and like take care of him, but I also know when there's a limit where I'm like, okay, man, like you're crying, you're throwing a fit, and it's because you just want your way, and like it ain't gonna happen like that. Like you right now, you're not the boss. Like you go chill for 5 minutes, and it will never be more than 5 minutes. And I guarantee you, if you guys took a minute with my kid, it'll never be more than 5 minutes before he fucking passes out and goes to sleep because he wanted to go to sleep because he was in a bad fucking mood.
But that's
You know what
taking
I mean?
into account the fact that you kind of has worked this out with your chick already. Like you kind of have
Exactly.
a deal going back and forth.
Yes.
Bring it back to the original question as far as like responsibility. I really like the point that she just made is that ultimately, and I do think that it's 50-50. It's shared by the two of you, but ultimately the one who gets pregnant is the woman. So I think that we do women and society in general a disservice, assuming that they're too dumb to make that and I'm not saying that I don't think that. What an example I would use is that I forget the college, but there was a classic case where, and this goes on all over college campuses all the time, where it's just kind of like the norm, where if a boy and a girl both get drunk at a party and then have sex with each other, and the woman then regrets it, she can then complain, she can then make a criminal complaint that he raped her because she wasn't able to give consent because she was intoxicated. But the fact is they were both intoxicated. So what that is assuming is that because of he was a male, he, despite being intoxicated, had the wherewithal to make a conscious decision. But because she's a female, she's too dumb to be responsible for herself. And I find that highly insulting.
And then I urge you guys, I don't know if you guys follow this or not, but it's called the Father's Rights Movement. It's like a page on Facebook and Instagram. You follow it, and it kind of gives those stories, like how you're saying. Like, it gives stories of men who are that kind of, like, accountable, and it's kind of like the mom who's, like, the dad almost, or in, like, in a stereotypical way is, like, the dad who's the mentally abuser and stuff like that, and the dad is the one trying to shield them, but nowadays it's I mean, it still hasn't really changed that much as far as history goes. Like, guys, in a domestic violence case, and this is a fact, you can check this, fact check it, put it on Google. Fact check is a domestic violence charge, no matter what happens, one of the two parties has to be pulled away for 24 hours. So most of the time, if it's a girl smacking herself and saying, hey, like, you know what, this guy's been hitting me or whatever, most of the time the cops gonna be.
There's room for lying and exploitation.
Exactly.
Before we get too far down, I can tell, and I also want to hear from Grant, because like Grant is the only one here who comes from a household where the not only do the man and woman stay together, but they're very, like, his dad's a lawyer. He knows the law and they love each other. So I really want to get your perspective.
As white as it gets.
You're as functional as it gets. You know.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing, is I don't want to set the mistake that only white people are functional. You know.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You had a functional household.
You come from a healthy, functional household.
So what is your perspective on, like, the responsibility of men and women when it comes to that?
And it's funny you bring that up, because before, when we were talking about the original, like, way back, I was gonna ask the question I was gonna ask was about, like, the differences in being raised in a single household, because you and Angela were both mother raised, single mother, and I'm sure it's different for single father raised.
Sure.
But it's interesting because and I did kind of want to go back to the whole, like, identity thing, because Angela was saying that you guys felt like there was, like, a piece missing. Like, I've know you told me before where you're like, you know, no one taught me how to throw a ball or whatever. Yeah. And I feel like that probably goes a lot into it, like, being super confused when you're, like, trying to you don't get the talk from your dad or whatever, and maybe you're lucky enough to have, like, a coach or a figure that can give you some sort of guidance in that way, but there's probably a lot of people that don't.
If you're lucky, exactly.
If you're lucky, yeah. So, like, I think it's weird too, because, like, not only is it weird because I can't even picture it, because I'm like, you don't, I mean, Angela has a sister and stuff, so you might get both perspectives, but it's kind of weird how, like, if you have a single mother or father, you get one side of the story, and then hopefully you get others, and then, but you know what I mean? You don't have that, you don't sit down, you don't have that talk together, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, you only get one perspective.
Right, so your original question was what exactly?
Well, it was just coming back to, before we got too far off topic, coming back to how we were talking about, like the responsibility of men and women,
right?
Like comparing and contrasting, like whose responsibility lies where, and when it comes down to responsibility for a child, both financially, socially, emotionally,
right?
Like, and kind of tagging on to how I was basically saying that it seems like, to me at least, the legal system is set up in a way to overcompensate for the fact that men can impregnate women and then leave.
Absolutely.
So they're trying to overcompensate by making women have the financial upper hand. But when that ends up doing is that the women, and I didn't get too into detail with this, but the women basically use that child, and not just women, but the single parent.
They're financially incentivized to kick the father out.
Well,
which is what happens a lot.
Let's even say you're a father who has a mother who makes more money. You're incentivized to basically use your child as a pawn, as a chess piece, as an individual. Exactly, and that's something that we're way I won't go into detail, but
now we're going into child's rights, which is a huge thing that's
different.
Not talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but let's stay on. Let's stay on the rights of men versus women, mothers versus fathers, when it comes to the responsibility in being a part of that child's life. and we already said our piece, but I wanted to hear your piece because you're coming from a family that did stay together. So how does that seem from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just different. Like, I don't really know
What's missing?
I don't know what's missing. Yeah, I don't know. I can't like say from a comparison. I mean, for me, it seems like I had nothing. I felt like I had nothing to seek out. Like there wasn't like a.
Like you don't know what you're missing, so it's
Yeah.
like you don't know.
Nothing is missing. You just went forward.
Yeah, I never felt like I had anything to prove ever. Like I was just like, my dad was like, hey, this is how you treat someone. This is like, my mom was like, this is how you treat a lady. Blah blah blah. I have sisters, whatever. But like I just felt like I had nothing to prove, which ultimately made me feel underdeveloped later because I was like less like incentivized to do so. You know what I mean? Like yeah, I was just like. Well, for me, this is what I saw. I saw my parents that loved each other so much. So for me, when I saw girls, I was like, I get obsessive where I'm like, I just love her so much. Like I want to do like I just want to be with that person. Like obviously that's what you have to do. Like you have to be the person that is like, you have to be in a happy relationship. Obviously I was stupid because it's like when you're that young, it's not a fucking
Just not even stupid, just inexperienced.
naive. I was
young,
naive. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, like that was the thing that I always aspired to be and do. And like it wasn't like I liked the movies, the badass, he fucks the chick, he's gone, whatever. But it was like nothing where like that's a fucking movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to other people, I'm like that's what they want to be, and that's what I feel like might have been the difference. Where I'm like that didn't seem realistic to me. Where I'm like that's not like anything that's functional. Like look at all the shit he had to deal with. He had to walk near like blowing up shit and had to deal with all these girls like slapping and yelling at him. And it looks sick in a movie, but you're like, you don't want to deal with that. Like fucking Captain Jack Sparrow getting slapped 5 times. You're like, I don't want to deal with that shit. Like,
Dude, you know, with Captain Jack Sparrow, it's
I guess
this dick tattooed guy over here.
I guess maybe I think you guys could both relate to this when it comes to like cinema and stuff like that. Like us as like, I don't know, man. I'm a really big movie person. So for me, like movies don't only portray a character. For me, I get involved emotionally with the character when I like am totally like involved with them. So for instance, like in a movie like Cruz, and you guys, we all love Blood In, Blood Out, right? Like I feel emotionally involved when it comes to that movie because I am a white Mexican. You know what I mean? And like not only that, but like the way his family was described to him.
Ole
like,
Miklo.
Sangre pero sangre.
yeah, dude, that movie's about you.
But when Grant was just saying, he was like, when he watched those movies and he was like talking about how is that realistic, to me it was realistic. To me it was, I want to be that person. I want to be Joe Pesci in Goodfellas. Like I want to be Robert De Niro in Casino. Like I want to be the guy making them. I want to be the boss. Because I saw where they came from, and where they came from was a point of like, not the same exact situation as me, because they're dealing with made guys, you know? And if you follow fucking the mob and stuff like that, to be a made guy, you gotta do all these things. But to me, it was inspirational.
Yeah, good.
I relate heavily with these characters because when I was growing up, like, those were the movies that I loved. I loved Casino. I loved Goodfellas. I loved Blood In, Blood Out because they reminded me of my family, you know? Like, they reminded me of certain characters in my family because growing up, they would say Joe Pesci was like my grandpa, for instance. Like, my grandpa was a fucking crazy motherfucker, you know? So like, when I watch these movies, I feel a certain sense of like I resonate with the characters a lot more than your average person, because to me it's not just watching a movie, it's like watching a piece of history, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I just want to add, I just noticed on you and Cruz's heritage in particular is so much cooler too, because you don't fucking, I mean, besides now, thank God for fucking Peaky Blinders, you don't get that much fucking British badass, and you know, Italians are like such a fucking loud gangster, fucking sick, and then even like Mexican culture is very like machismo, like so fun, party oriented, you know. But like before that, you didn't get that shit, so or at least I didn't. There's not as many movies I saw, but maybe that's because I'm friends with you guys. You should watch that on Netflix too.
Definitely
Hey,
should.
shout out fuck Peaky Blinders, because it's a knockoff of fucking Boardwalk Empire, and I will never watch that show.
Hey, okay.
Whoa.
I get where you're
Whoa.
coming from.
People
Different setting.
People who fucking love Boardwalk Empire, bro. That's us too. You know what I'm saying? But Peaky Blinders was really good. When we first tried to watch it, and we were like, "Fuck this." We
Yeah, we
watched
didn't
like
make it
30
through the first
seconds.
Slow the first time.
No, but the second time we were feeling it. You gotta get
I'll-
into the gay ass
Look.
accents and the
Yeah.
stupid shit.
No, it's not.
It's not gay, bro. We
Okay.
we own the entire world. No, I'm just kidding.
First of all,
gay, Mike.
First of all,
Hey,
gay,
you gotta- hey, you
gay
gotta
is
give
a
up some of your
very,
Italian
very,
fucking
very,
pride, bruh.
very horrible thing to say.
All right, sorry.
You know.
That was me.
So
My
you think
bad.
it's bad to be
Don't.
gay then?
Yeah.
Right, so what you're saying is...
No, I'm saying like
Why is it horrible?
well because like nobody should openly admit like to get a dick sucked by a guy, even though I like it. You know. Anyways, we're getting off
Wait,
subject.
hold on, real quick. Sidetrack. Did you like the fucking Capone on Tom Hardy? Because I thought it was shit.
That movie was fucking trash. If anybody's listening to me and they're thinking about ordering the Al Capone movie with Tom Hardy, that was the most fucking. But look, as somebody who wants to hear the other side of somebody else, it really did portray, from what I hear, his side of the disease he was suffering with. Like that was really the way he was acting. So from what I hear, it was good acting depicting what he was going through, dying from syphilis.
But who cares about that? No one cared about that at all. At all.
Well, if you're somebody who likes movies,
Well, not even only that. I'll tell you, somebody who cares about that is somebody who used to be on top of the world, someone who was the man and is now dealing with their degrading health, and all of a sudden they're not the man
That's-
that used to be.
that's-
anymore.
that-
That movie
that's-
speaks to those people.
have you seen the movie?
I haven't seen
Well,
it.
you
no.
should watch it. It's a shitty movie. I won't lie to you, but that movie really depicts like his downfall. It has nothing to do with the mob. Not one fucking thing. It truthfully has to do with his mental health
Yeah,
as an
that's
ex.
the point. That's the
as-
point of the
as
movie.
a-
It's about being. It's this the story of the human being, the character who has it all.
About this big
who
tough
came
guy.
who came from nothing, who made their life, who became a made man, who got up and up and up and had a made life and blah blah blah, tough guy, and then something so shitty happens to them that they could have never planned.
But
for
I
or
feel
done
like
anything
I mean
about,
I guess
really,
because he's
at
such
the
a
time.
he's such a known character, everyone knows about him. But I feel like they should have at least done like a couple more flashbacks of like his greater days or something to see the comparison.
To make
you know?
a movie.
But that wasn't the point of the movie though. The point of the movie was to see him in his vulnerable moment of him dying of his disease. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I knew that.
Nobody
Well,
knew
that's
that.
what
That's
the
why the
movie
movie was
Yeah, to
made.
bring attention to
To
it.
bring attention to it, because that's why it was so sad, was because again, going back to the shit that we talked about today, these people are talked about as superheroes, and we perceive them as such, but nobody, like, they're all just human at the end of the day. They can die just like me and you. They bleed just like me and you. You know what I mean? They end up like that. The toughest guys in the world end up on their deathbed crying, begging for a different life or begging to be helped. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I do,
you know,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a different perspective, because I think that's what the producer was probably trying to do. I fucking hate the movie. Don't get me wrong. I hate the movie because it depicts Al Capone as such a little bitch, and for one, and for two, it depicts him as like an old man, but at the same time, taking care of people who I thought were like superheroes, my aunt and uncle specifically, they got to a point, or they will get to a point, where it almost becomes humiliating, man. Like, they piss themselves, they shit themselves, they can't take care of themselves like that anymore, and someone's got to step up to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that's why the movie, that's what I took from the movie, was understanding the mental health. Like, I understood that, but the movie was shitty. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie, to be honest.
And
so-
also, I heard that he based his character off of Bugs Bunny. Was it you that told me that? I forget. Someone told me that.
So fucking stupid.
Well, someone told me that, where I was like, dude, what the fuck? Because like, the way, I don't know, he just sounds odd, obviously, but he's losing his fucking marbles, so it makes sense, but...
Well, speaking of, and not to segue too hard, but this is going to be a hard segue. Speaking of declining health, what do you guys think about the current presidential race?
Oh my god. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get into it, but let's not talk over each other. I want to get each of our opinions and thoughts first.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Tiffany's like, I will mute if I don't agree with where you stand, and I will make that abundantly clear. Yeah.
Billions and billions.
Dude, I don't know. This is all I want to know. What are they giving Joe Biden for him to be coherently there? Because
And what did they
he's-
forget to give him just last night?
Well, he wasn't. It's never as bad as I think it's gonna be. Which is sucks.
Have you guys seen V for Vendetta? I don't know if you guys take this as serious, but to me, when I watch the news, it's like V for Vendetta, when it's like it's feeding propaganda and bullshit. I feel like everybody is just trying to fit this fucking same narrative for so many things that, like, I don't think anybody is choosing their side in a position where it actually comes from what they want. It comes from what they think they should be doing, and I don't feel like that's the case.
I also think. Sorry. I I also think that a lot of people don't even know what they should want.
Yeah.
So they don't even, and a bunch of stuff that they're saying, like all this stuff they don't really care about, and they're so confused, and they're like, I'm just gonna vote instead of voting like doing all the props and all that shit that might affect you. They're just like, I'm just gonna go for a team, and then just figure that out.
And then for me, like a lot of people think I'm a fucking conservative. Like everybody always goes, "Oh, Angelo, you're a fucking Republican." I said, "Bro, I'm not a fucking Republican, bro. On my registration to vote, I'm just no party. I'm not a Democrat. I'm independent. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a fucking Republican. I believe in whatever the person is trying to sell me most of the time. And I'll be honest with you, I've only voted once before this year, and that was last year. And my vote was Trump. I voted for Trump. You know, that was just because digging into certain things, and a little bit had to do with I won't lie,
Well,
like
when your options are Hillary Clinton versus Donald
exactly
Trump.
that was my thing. And once I dug into whether you're a conspiracy theorist or not, it doesn't take a fucking genius to know that the Clintons are a fucking idiot. They're all idiots.
Corruption, to say the least.
Corruption for sure.
Yeah, because idiot implies that they're stupid, and I don't think that
And
you
I
get
think
to the
they're
level of
intelligent.
power and wealth.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
But
you can be intelligent and still be a bad person.
The Democrats had Bernie Sanders, who the people loved. People loved Bernie Sanders, and then they fucked him, and they gave the people Hillary Clinton. Okay, but we're not there yet. In 2016, they fucked Bernie and gave the people Hillary, and Hillary was a terrible choice. People thought that she's a woman so that people would vote for her, and that is just, like we were talking about earlier, is just so fucking disrespectful, to say the least, to females, to say, like, oh,
and that's crazy that you say that, because I won't lie, I generalized that because Hillary Clinton was a woman. I thought most women wanted to vote for her. So I won't lie to you. I'm part of that like little percentage where it was like maybe girls who didn't know about politics just said, "Fuck it, let's have Hillary Clinton as a president."
This is what's disgusting, is you're not wrong, and that's what the party went for. They went for it. Yeah, they banked on
Well,
it.
and they thought,
yes.
best of both worlds, at least there's Bill Clinton standing behind her, a nice man that's already been president, to tell her what to do for the people who were misogynist or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like,
So back in 2016, I with everything that happened and the way that it happened and all of that and blah blah blah, I knew that Trump was gonna win, and then he won, and then people were shocked. Okay. And then even then too, they had the polls, and they were like, Hillary's winning by the polls, and it's like, that's because people are afraid to say that they want Trump. And then so here we are in 2020, 4 years later, and it's a new election, and he can still run for a second term. And Bernie ran, and what'd they do?
Dropped out.
Fucked him. They fucked him. They fucked him out. And they gave us Joe Biden because they thought that people would go. People liked Barack Obama for 8 years, and Joe Biden was Barack Obama's vice president for 8 years. Therefore, people will vote for Joe Biden. But that's not true.
Also, don't dismiss he was part of Congress and the Senate for 47 plus years
47
before
years.
that. Then what? You know.
Well, but that's the struggle that I have.
That is the argument that I hear everybody saying is like,
every news bite ever.
Three things, amongst other things. It's all of it combined, but the three big things. Two of them came from at the DNC, the Democratic National Convention. Number one was Bill Clinton gave a speech to the Democratic National Convention explicitly stating about how Donald Trump misbehaved in the Oval Office. Now think about that. Bill Clinton, the man who was impeached for getting a blowjob and then lying about it on camera on national TV to the American public.
I did not have sex with that woman.
In the Oval Office, out of all the people in the world, let alone the country, to give a speech to specifically say that Donald Trump is misbehaving in the Oval Office. Now, my first thought when I saw it is like, wow, that's just such a bad strategy. Like, how dumb. But it's not dumb, because what they think that they're doing is they're rewriting history. Because the people who are voting weren't around back then. They're not informed. The young people, the people that they're the 18 and 20-year-olds,
they're the people that they're targeting.
they weren't there in 1994.
Yeah.
They weren't or 1996 or
And
whatever.
another
it was.
mistake they don't seem to recognize is those people rarely vote.
That as well.
But they're
the 18-year-olds.
assuming that because they get on TV and then they say Donald Trump is misbehaving in the Oval Office, that it will not only convince people that he is misbehaving in the Oval Office, but they'll forget that Bill Clinton was actually the one who misbehaved in the Oval Office.
But the problem is with our well, I guess maybe it's probably my generation before me. I don't know. But the problem is they believe it.
Yes,
You know what I
that's
mean?
what we're
They believe
saying.
it.
Here's
So
the thing.
so
Okay.
so how do we?
Well,
How
hold on.
Hang on.
Here's the thing. I'll try and make it quick. I got three things that fucking broke my mind about this thing that
Well,
have
because-
convinced me
okay,
that
to
there's
be fair
something.
as well, we and our whatever, we were pretty hardcore Democrat a
Yeah.
handful of years ago,
Yeah.
and whatever.
I voted for Barack Obama.
Right. There you go.
That's where I was at. Look, I told my aunt the same thing. I said, look, you hand me a guy like Barack Obama with this election, maybe I would have been steered in that direction, but I wasn't. I wasn't impressed by Joe Biden from the day he started. And then keep in mind, I'm not a political guy, man. Like, but I think it's important for us as in this generation, like we need to be involved, right? And everybody's being involved now. It's weird. Facebook, Instagram, all these things are telling you register to vote. You need to vote. You need to do this. It is such a crazy time because this is the most involved politics have been with like social shit. You know what I mean?
Hey, can I give some quick financial advice? If Biden does win, invest in all social media companies.
Yeah.
Invest in Facebook, Twitter, YouTube will all
If-
their stocks will
if
go
he
up
wins.
if Biden wins.
So that's number one. Is Bill Clinton trying to rewrite history by stating that Trump has misbehaved in the Oval Office more than any other president, even though he is the one. That's
In recent
textbook
history.
textbook doublethink, textbook Orwellian rewriting of history shit. Number two, Elizabeth Warren,
I love her.
the one Pocahontas, the one who claimed that she was claimed that she was Native American for so many years to get benefits from colleges, jobs, yada yada yada, was called out by Donald Trump in order to take a DNA test. She takes the DNA test. It comes back. I don't know the numbers here. I'm sorry, but it's the
was
fraction.
It's like less than a percent.
Yeah, it much less than a percent. It's like 1/1000th of a percent, give or take. Minuscule,
Let's call it 1%.
tiny amount of Native American DNA. Who do they have at during the DNC? They have a special Native American portion where Native Americans are supposed to have their piece and speak to the American people on a national scale. Who do they have as a Democratic representative to talk to them? Elizabeth Warren.
That's one that just passed away, right?
No,
No.
that was Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah.
No,
she
she was the Supreme Court justice.
She was a
No,
yeah.
Elizabeth Warren is a lifelong.
hair, right? And she was
Yeah, and glasses. She's a lifelong politician.
She looks like your grandma.
Who
Not your grandma, but
When-
just everyone's grandma.
when the DNA exactly everyone's grandma, the DNA test comes back saying that she's like 1/1000th Native American,
And she's like, see,
she presents that as like, see, look, I am Native
I
American.
am.
Again, trying to rewrite history. Again, trying to
to
rewire
create their
the
own
viewers to think
you
that
you get that
well,
much DNA by killing a
Yeah.
when the splash of blood lands on your
Yeah,
fucking
that's how much
your
DNA
fucking
gets
glasses.
involved.
So that's option again, number 2 of them rewriting history. And then number 3, this one's going to be a little bit like smaller. It doesn't seem that significant, but it's significant to me. Was when they came out and they actually all over the mainstream media networks saying that, well, because after months of being locked down, people are asking for their rights back. They say that we want to go out, we want to open our businesses,
We
we
wanna
don't
go
want
back
our,
to school.
we want to go back to school, all yada
All of
yada
a
yada,
sudden, right?
A, B, and C, and then the riots start happening. Well, let's say the protests start happening,
protests.
and then some of them turn into riots. And what does the media come out and do? Not only do they not condemn the violence,
The destruction.
They say that-
was
black-
shut down.
They-
until-
Not
They
only
say
do
that-
not
they say
condemn
that-
the black-owned businesses that are being destroyed.
they
Yeah.
straight up say that, well, you know, actually there's evidence, there's proof that the virus wasn't being spread by that. It was actually the anti-mask protests that were spreading the virus, not the
BLM
Yeah.
protests.
and but look, when I went on Yelp or when I went on Facebook or when I went on Snapchat and they say black owned this, buy this because of black owned that. Look, man, white people, let's say it's fuck it. I'm not even white, man. It's Italian, I'm Mexican, and so let's say I want to fund Italian and Mexicans, and when they say they want to pay what's the word I'm looking for? Reparations for blacks and stuff like that. Okay, so California was once part of Mexico. So do Mexicans in that aspect get paid reparations for owning
Back on
Mexico?
what you said, because I do this sometimes where I'll help people with their Google My Business and stuff, and that's an option where it's like, show something special, and it's like, lesbian, black, or veteran. And they're like, what? And that's the
So
only
what if I
options
say
you
it's
get.
just white
And it,
man?
and it actually boosts your SEO if you're one of
Independent
those.
fucking
I love
So
how
it's
it's
like-
lesbian. It's not
Or
homosexual.
not, sorry, it's
You can't-
It's L. It's. I
Oh,
think,
okay.
I think it's the whole spectrum. I believe.
Okay.
Or it's like something like that.
alright,
Yeah.
period. Alright.
But there's no other thing. So I'm like, so as long as you're gay or just black, but then any other ethnicity, you get no other.
Well, see, I urge you all who were to ever watch this, whether it went viral, not, I don't care, is you guys all need to watch V for Vendetta because V for Vendetta states that in the year 2020,
keep in mind, the year 2020, a virus hits the state, and they make the state think that they need to rely on the government for their protection. And he's the guy who's supposed to be like the person who takes care of everything. He tells them, he goes, someone's gonna make a mistake somewhere. And what the mistake is that these people who are governing everybody, and it's like a fucking total authoritarian fucking government where the government controls vaccines, it controls your help, like it controls
Where
everything.
you can work.
Where
and
you
when
can
you
work, everything. You cannot be out past a certain time. You have a fucking.
I remember that.
You guys need to watch it again because it totally fucking resonates with what's going on right now. The government is trying to make us think, and look, I'm going on some Alex Jones type shit right now, but look. The government is thinking. The government's thinking that we need them, when the government should be thinking we need them, but in a different type of thinking. We should not need. Yeah, the government should not be governed by the government. The government should be governed by its people.
Isn't that what
And
America was founded on?
exactly,
I don't know. Maybe
exactly.
I'm wrong.
So
According to the
I don't know,
Democrats.
man. Like, and just so you know, because you're part of my family, is a lot of our family think they're behind closed doors supporting Trump, but a lot of our family, like my cousin, he's a
Sure.
Bernie supporter, but he's never had a conversation with somebody where they ask him why he thinks the way that he thinks. And that's where our biggest conversation came with my cousin. Is I told him, I said, hey man, look, you're gay, right? He goes, yeah. I said, you remember when people were against gay people and they said if you didn't think the same way that you are a piece of shit or that you are this person? What's the difference between you and you telling me that someone who thinks that Trump is a good person is the same person who says gays should burn in hell and that gays should die or gays should have fucking what's electroshock therapy?
Yeah,
Or what is that called?
Conversion therapy.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what is separating you from what you're trying to fight for?
What?
You know, you are generalizing. You are assuming that because I support Trump, that I'm
That
racist.
you're racist
But hold
and
on.
that you deserve to be
But hold
punched
on.
on
But
the
then I'm racist.
street.
Look at my face. I'm white. I'm white as fuck. But I'm Mexican, right? Like I think people should come over here for. I believe in America. I believe that people should come over here, in a specific way though. I don't agree with legal immigration. I don't. Yeah. At all. I don't. That's just me. And the reason why I agree with that is because my family, and this is just speaking for myself, my family exploited that. My dad went to jail. His brothers went to jail. His sisters went to jail. They all went to jail for all this crazy shit.
That they brought over, basically.
And again, maybe I'm generalizing, but at the same time, like he doesn't have that experience that I have. He's generalizing based on an opinion. Like he's trying to assume that because I support conservative person that I'm generally conservative or I don't believe in abortion or you know what I mean like he's generalizing the way that I think.
Well, not only that, he's generalizing the same way people used to generalize. Like it's just the shoe is on the other foot now.
Exactly. Like you think you're better than me because now you think because I don't agree with you that I'm against. I looked at him and I go, hey man, look at me. You called me all throughout your high school years being there for you. Do you think I'm against gay marriage? Fuck no, I'm not. I don't give a fuck if you're an oyster, a fucking Van shoe. I don't give a fuck what you are. If you're in love, do your thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't disagree with you. You know what I mean? But to call me a racist and a bigot because I believe in something else, like you are doing the same thing that people thought was against you.
Yeah.
To me,
You know,
I will say
That's what I was
this:
gonna
the
say.
one thing that I was kind of stuck on was that California, we're lucky. Okay, California is more open to a lot of things. This is the one thing that I won't lie to you, I was stuck on. That's why I can say, like, I don't have a biased opinion on these things because, you know, my cousin kind of opened my mind on this. We're in California. California's open to gays, squares, triangles, whatever the fuck you want to do. It's okay to see a
Homeless,
fucking...
whatever.
It's okay to see a transsexual walk down the street and, like, it's fine. Like, I don't care. As long as you ain't fucking with me, I don't care.
Yeah, you're weird if you have a problem with it.
But you go to a place like Alabama, or you go to a place like Virginia, like oh no, I don't believe like it is a little different for them there.
Yeah, for sure.
You get
Yeah,
me?
you're not
So
wrong.
so I can't disagree there. I understand certain places is very different, but as somebody who does believe in Trump and who does want him to win, what is my argument to a person like that? You know, like what is my argument to somebody who's like
In Japan,
it's okay
they
here,
bow.
But I can't get away with the same
Like
thing
in
here.
Kansas, they believe different shit. That's why the states should govern themselves. Like, as shitty as that sounds, like if you don't like it, don't go there.
The federal
Don't live there.
government
You know what I
should
mean?
decide that for
Else.
you.
The
Like,
federal
if you don't
government
like-
should not dictate.
Yeah, it's like if you don't like fucking other
Well,
places.
counter to
I'm
that is,
feeling
what
really
if- what if you're-
threatened.
what if
I'm
you're
feeling
born
really
there?
threatened.
That's the thing is, what
Where
if
are you
you're
born
what
there?
if you're born
And I
You're
get
homosexual?
born
that.
in Alabama.
Because
and
it is hard to
that's
leave for a
leaving.
lot of people, which is that's probably the biggest issue is like they dream of greener pastures where they can live a life they want to live, you know? And it's like I feel like if you really wanted to like just take the plunge and move, like people do it all the time. We've been doing it for thousands of years. Like
Yeah.
it's weird to think that people will pick up and move for a job and all the time.
All the time,
And if you think about like, economics, it's the study of change, and that is like, if people pick up and move for sexual preferences too. People used to do it and move to Canada to get married or whatever. But like usually most people, and that's what sucks about it. And you can see if it's systemic or not. But like the whole like segregation thing, like most people classify they like to be around people that they like, so they move towards people that they like, and that's what happens. And sometimes a job will. The only thing that differs is when jobs or other successes bring you to a place that you don't always like. But then maybe you find out that you do like that, So it's
sure.
I don't know. It's a weird thing how it's like, okay, we can pick up and move for a job whenever because it's financial gain. But if it's your own like personal gain, it's like no, everyone else should just move around
The
me.
people who
And then-
I'm already around should
Yeah.
conform to me,
And then
even
as
though
far as
I'm the minority.
yeah, and as far as like the democracy of it
correct?
goes, it's like okay, we're gonna listen to the 10% that has never been done ever. We've always listened to majority rule, so it's like, which sucks because like
I'll be honest with you. When all this stuff really first started breaking out, my son was
Just born.
like just born, like 2-3 weeks old, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you wanna know what I did? I was so like protective of my son. Like I'm a gun. Like I'm a very avid like gun person. Like I believe if you're a human being, you should own a gun. Like I think you should do that. And so for me, I own like 3 or 4 weapons. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not to hurt anybody. It's to protect my family from should something happen. You know what I
To
mean?
have if necessary.
And so when all these protests and stuff were going on, my girl was gone because I think she was trying to go to work. She had an interview or something like that, and it was getting really bad in Long Beach. And where I lived, like it's down the street from all that shit. And the way that they were protesting, like fuck this, fuck that, we're gonna loot and do whatever. Like
Bro.
I don't like I'm not a kid anymore, so like I don't think it's cool to like promote things like that. But bro, like I won't lie to you, like I had my gun on me on a holster every day that I took care of him
just making yourself
until
coffee,
until I
just
knew
changing his diaper.
until I knew it was over. You know what I mean? Because
Man.
look, I'll be
Yeah.
damned. Like I don't care what the fuck you're fighting for. I don't care how fucking anarchist you want to be or Antifa or fucking BLM you want to be. If you come between me and coming home to my fucking family, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Well, okay, bro. Like, let me just give this little tidbit. Is like, so, midst a couple months into the pandemic, Cruz and I just reflected on like our family and our friends and the people we love and the
Yeah.
people we haven't talked to in a long time because we are both out of work and we're like, okay, we have all this time. This is a good time to maybe connect with our family and friends who we haven't talked to in a long time. So we did reach out and we actually contacted a lot of our friends and family who we still haven't even seen because we were like, hey, I really want to get together with you. It's been so long. I want to know how you're doing, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And
This is a great time to do it, too.
And then it was right at the moment in the couple weeks that the protests broke out. And dude, I can't even lie. I mean, I was legit terrified to drive on the freeway. I did not want to be fucking stopped on
And
the
you know,
freeway and have my car broken down. Bro, you think I can afford a new windshield? Hell the fuck no. You know what
It's
I mean?
more than that,
I don't
though.
want to put myself right.
It's
It is
way
more than
fucking
that. You're
more
not
than
wrong,
that.
but I'm just saying even on the small scale is I don't want to put myself in a situation where somebody's gonna break my windshield
Yeah.
because I'm trying to
So-
drive to my aunt's house
Yeah.
to visit her because I
So-
haven't seen her in a month. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then like with that is like not only that, I mean, you're just thinking about all these things that are going on, and like you're saying, like I need to carry a weapon. I mean, Cruz and I, it's not that we don't believe in having a
No.
gun or having weapons. We definitely do. We just currently do not.
I was gonna say, especially
But-
with your mom, bro. Your mom would come home with a fucking pistol on her hip all the
Straight
time.
up,
I'd be like,
she
"Bruh,"
slept with that
like-
shit under her pillow, did she not? But you know what
It's
I
a
mean,
good
which
thing.
is fair. No, there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, us as well, like we definitely want that. We just don't, and we need to. that's a whole different thing. But just like with everything popping off, we just realize how necessary that is. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
and let's all just forget about our beliefs and take your fucking emotions out of it for a second and just think about the logic of the type of society that the United States has created. The world,
they have
culture
straight up
that we're
openly
living
said
in.
that they don't want to. Not that they don't want to denounce it, but they will not come after. Like Antifa and stuff like that,
Straight
doing
up.
all the things because of that simple right.
It's an idea, not an organization.
It's
Right,
not an organization.
right.
It's not even an idea. It's actually just non-existent.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, it's a terrorist group now.
The problem is that there is a clear bias not only in media but also in our social culture, where there is an issue with taking pride in your race if you're white. That should still be it should still be an issue if you take pride in your race if you're not white, but no one talks about it. So
let's talk about it.
so let's talk about it. America's founding principle that separates it from all of the other countries in the world ever is that it's not America's founding principles that make it so unique is that it wasn't about your race. It wasn't about your religion. It wasn't about the color of your skin. It was about coming to this country to find freedom, a combination of freedom of religion, freedom of trade, freedom of expression, freedom of speech, essentially. Now the problem is that we all admit, it's just historical fact that European nations colonized and dominated a bunch of other cultures, resulting in heavily, like, the majority of the people who were enslaved, because basically slaves were black, indentured servants were other races, but you have a lot of descendants of slaves who are stuck in this country. Sure, that's true.
But
And
also, black people enslaved black people in Africa all the time. Different tribes.
But they didn't they didn't create this nation.
Right.
Europeans did.
Yeah.
So, but hold on. So I get the idea that it's not that you're not allowed to be proud of your heritage or your nation because you're white. It's that no one should be. Now here's where the problem comes, is that no one's supposed to be proud of their race because it's an immutable thing that you didn't do anything for. You didn't choose that you were black. You didn't
Agreed.
choose that you were a woman. You didn't
Agreed.
choose that you were homosexual.
Agreed.
You didn't choose that you were European or that you were black. You were just born into it. Now we're at the problem where no one's supposed to be able to take pride in that, but the media, so the social construct says that you can be proud of being black inherently because you're black, or you can be proud that you're Mexican inherently because you're Mexican, because you were an oppressed person.
Of the
And-
adversity you overcame.
Exactly. But the problem is that while there's still remnants of it, no doubt, the consequences of history echo through generations. I get it. But the problem is that those things aren't here anymore. And I had a conversation with somebody one time where it's like, well, what about people like Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Ben Carson, Barack Obama? And they say, well, you know what? Like, that's just the reason you know those names is because they're the handful of black people who have made it. But you don't know all the names of all the successful white people because they're the majority. It's like, dog, I don't know all the names of all the successful black people.
Yeah.
That's just a handful of them.
I just know a couple.
That's
that
just a
are
couple.
So
You're pretending like Barack, Oprah,
And I know
Ice Cube.
successful white people.
Like
Ice Cube,
the number of
go on and
successful
on.
black people can be counted on
Ice
on
Cube
two
just
hands.
said that he supported Donald Trump too, just so everybody knows.
Exactly. But my point is that so here's the problem is that I totally it's a completely biased and unbalanced narrative where there is a completely understandable and rational argument to make that no, you shouldn't have you can be proud personally for your heritage. Like, you can celebrate that, but you didn't do anything to earn that. Your
earn it.
ancestors did.
Agreed.
But there's no reason for you to be
It wasn't
prideful
anything that
because
you as an-
you're
this person
English or you're
was born in
Italian or you're
1976.
Spanish or whatever it is that you have white skin for. But you do have the right to be proud that you're black because your ancestors overcame. But that goes fundamentally against the idea that America was founded on, that it doesn't matter what your race is. And then, well, in the Constitution, it said that black people were 3/5 of the person. No, it said that slaves were 3/5 of the person.
Slaves.
The majority of slaves, if
Were
not
African-American.
virtually
Not
all,
all,
were
but
African American.
some.
But it didn't say that it was because they were black. It said because they were
slaves.
slaves. That's not the same thing.
Yeah. My ideology on this, college educated or not, like, I always say this to people is, I feel like things are racist or systemically racist, whatever you want to call it, is because that we are keeping it there. You know, we are keeping it there. The news is keeping it there, or black people are keeping it there. White people are keeping it because when you open up the news, what do you hear? White cop kills black cop for blah blah blah, or white cop kills black man for. It's like it's all about race, man. Like, look, believe me or not, you know, when I moved to Vegas, man, I had a really weird experience. I was raised around blacks. I was around fucking hardcore blacks who were ghetto as shit, carried guns with them. Mexicans too, same thing. Whites, same thing. But guess what? There was no racial divide because we were all going through the same shit. We're all struggling. We all hated our parents. We all fucking, you know what I mean? Like when a cop pulled us over, it wasn't just about being white. It was about you were in the car with me, who was a troublemaker, my friend who's a troublemaker, and my other friend who's a troublemaker. Like, we're all just troublemakers. We're all trying to fucking just get this together. So it bothers me. Like, I hate when people say you don't understand. That that logic
Because of the color of your skin.
Have you guys heard the quote?
Because of your skin color. It's not about what you've been through.
Have you guys heard the quote? Remember when is the worst like communication substance ever, because you're reflecting on something that has been, and it's not something that is currently going on, if it makes sense. Like for instance, if like it's okay to reflect on things that have happened before. Like for instance, me and you haven't seen each other for 5 years, so it's okay that we talk about things that have happened, like with my life or your life, because we don't know. But if we keep talking about what if and remember this and remember that, it becomes a substance of conversation that's like we don't have anything for us for the future. Like we're not now talking about what we want.
We're living in the past.
Yeah, we're living in the past. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with like racial divide. It's like we're living in the past, man. Like I don't give a fuck that you're black, bro. Like I don't give a fuck. I don't care that you're black. I don't care if you're Mexican.
And to be fair, I'm not saying that the fact that you are a descendant of slavery, because that's a important distinction too. There's a difference between being black and being a descendant of slavery. Those are two different things. You can be Jamaican or you can be descendant of somebody who sold the slaves. There's a difference between the consequences of generations over time and your reality right now. I get it. Your grandparents were, or maybe your great-grandparents, they were slaves. They had zero opportunities. But now you're going to an American university. Now you have the opportunity. You have just as much opportunity to make $100,000 a year as I do.
Yeah.
So
and more than ever. And then I just wanted to fucking add that fucking T.O. Vaughn joke where he's like, he lived next to a black kid and he's like, you enslaved my people, and they're like both poor and shit. And it's like, you think I would have enslaved you, then moved right next door? It's like, no, bro.
Look, that was always my argument. Was look, the time of you don't understand is no more. You don't get to tell me that I don't understand. I understand what it feels like to be poor. I understand what it feels like for my mom not to be there, my dad not to be there. I understand what it feels like to have an empty stomach. So you can't fucking sit here and tell me that I don't understand what it's like. No, I understand what it's like, motherfucker. You're just not seeing that.
I'm getting an odd feeling like you're mansplaining to me right now.
I get an
Angela.
odd feeling that your white skin is telling me something.
Yeah,
You're a little fat, so I don't know how many times you've ever been hungry right now.
Okay.
Exactly. Your cisgender is actually
hold
rather
on.
apparent right now.
So apparently I'm being genderized.
White
by
supremacist.
First of all, you're the biggest white supremacist and you're brown. So
Well, us whites got to stick together, you know?
I heard you're a descendant of Hitler, dude.
Bro, I'm actually more brown
whoa.
than Cruz. I
don't
looked
know
at my
about that.
DNA, and it's like, I think I'm like 60% brown, and it just doesn't show, but I just, you know.
I'm just gonna leave that there.
I'm just going to throw that out there. You can do what you want with it.
Anyways, okay. So, we just got really serious for us. Let's get unserious, okay? Let's talk Boardwalk Empire.
Dick tattoos?
Or dick tattoo.
Boardwalk Empire.
Give Peaky Blinders a chance,
Well,
dog.
I agree. I do want to end this on a light note. Is there anything that anyone else has to say about this subject? Because I know we're going back and forth a lot. Is there
Vote
any,
Donald Trump
unfinished-
2020.
Ah, good Lord, Angelo.
I like dirt.
I love lamp. No, don't vote. It doesn't matter.
Don't say this shit, dog.
First of all, we might go viral, so fuck this
Yeah,
guy.
do you know how many kids
Fucking
are influencing
Hogart.
right now?
Here's the thing. Vote for who you think, but do vote.
Don't
I
be
mean,
disappointed
like,
when it doesn't
It is
matter.
wild. I mean, I remember the
before you
time
say
where
that,
I
it's
felt
like,
like a vote doesn't matter.
I'll have a better statement for. I'm going to correct your statement. Before you say vote for who you think, why don't you think before you vote?
Oh! I wish I could mic drop, but I can't. It's attached. Give me the arm.
Think before you vote, motherfuckers.
Later, bitch.
Lord.
Lords, mic drop.
Hey, Lord's out. Lord's out.
Anyways, hold on. Let's talk. Let's get on a weird subject.
Let's get on something lighthearted.
Cruz, I know it's your show. I'm sorry to take over.
Angela has definitely taken his
Look.
I didn't realize this was Angela's corner.
It's the Angelo corner now. I sucked the Cruz cumber. Now it's fine.
Let me tell a story to let you guys know how much Angelo will just make it his corner is. He convinced Jack that his pants that he was wearing were not. All right, sorry. Back on.
I can't get over it.
I can't, dude. I can't.
Guys, so sad about it.
You kicked Jack out of his own house.
Honestly, here's Cruz corner.
Sorry, I name dropped. Hey, JL.
No, I haven't heard this story before. Can you tell me, Grant?
Angelo borrowed a pair of pants from Jack.
Who's Jack?
Or sorry, JL. And then
Jack Lucente.
and then Jack was like, "Hey, those are my pants." And then Angelo's like, "No, they're not. I bought these. I'll give you the receipt." And Jack's like, "Please give me back my pants." And he never did.
Why were you wearing your friend's pants?
Dude, Angelo would go in your closet and just steal everything.
That's true.
Hey,
Okay.
hold on. It's because my mom couldn't afford them.
Okay, are you my family or are you not my family? Because you're my family.
For sure.
I never minded, but I forgot about that till Grant brought it up right now. That's true. Like Angela would stay the night at your house, and then the next morning take a shower and wear your clothes and leave.
Okay, to be fair, this one pair of shorts I owned were my favorite fucking pair of shorts, and they came from my friend. I stole them from her closet, bro. They were
Look,
so
man,
fucking
it wasn't
comfortable.
intentional. I thought we were all friends. I thought I could have them. I don't know.
Hey, I thought it was fun. I thought it was borrowing. It's like the thrift store,
take
bro.
anything from my closet right now, but I expect it back.
Hey, and I'll fight you about it if I don't see it.
Anyways.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so see, I'm white and I never had to steal people's clothes, but let me tell you.
Parents who loved you.
I think that's what they call white privilege.
Yeah, that is what you call white privilege. Hey, that's also how, as a white man, I felt like I had to donate to Angelo. I'm just kidding.
The less fortunate.
No, dude, I wore the worst shit that Angelo wouldn't even steal it.
That was the strategy.
That was the strategy, dude. No, I'm just kidding. I was just 4 inches shorter, so I didn't have to deal with it.
Oh my god.
Anyways, let's talk about something funny. Craziest
Is your
drug.
dick cheese not funny?
Craziest drug story. Ready, set, go.
Drug story? I think you're number one. Doggy.
Drug story.
Should we all go first so that your build up sounds good?
No, I'll go first, and if you want, you guys can do
You should
it.
either go first or last, because you're gonna either have the best or the
He's
worst.
gonna have.
I
the
don't know
best.
that. How do you guys know that?
Because we're all
because-
children who don't do drugs. Grant, go first. You're left.
My best drug story was my 19th birthday, and I got to sniff cocaine off this girl's booty.
I remember that story for no fucking reason. I wasn't even there.
I don't know.
We were there.
Were we there?
You guys were there.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, we were downstairs just like doing nothing while Grant was fucking sniffing coke off some bitch's booty.
No, we were having sex in his bedroom.
His bedroom or his sister's?
I think it was his sister's.
I
Did
think
you
it
guys?
was-
Was there? Was
it
there
was really
cat
good.
poop
If
next
that
to you?
helps.
First time I used the
First time I ever put
First
a butthole was at his house.
Man, I'm really the what's the word? The
Adrenochrome?
no, where I bring everyone together, like
Yes.
the
The glue.
Anyway, yeah, that was pretty cool.
Grant, can I get some more detail?
Yeah, sure. So
19th birthday. Go on.
it was the first time I ever. It was the first time I've ever done blow in my life, my 19th birthday, and I loved it so much. It was like right when I fucking did it, I loved it so much.
Hey,
And
would you recommend cocaine to a first time user?
I'm asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
yeah, as long as it's like okay, like it doesn't have to be good, but as long as it's okay, because if it's bad, it's just like it's awful. you get so much anxiety and you feel like shit for no reason. And it's not good. But then when it is good, you feel like you could like literally debate Donald Trump and be, and win.
You think that you could win.
You think you could win.
Right.
But yeah, so it was awesome. And my friend Nigel was like, I was like, what does Coke feel like? He's like, think about like drinking a Red Bull, but like times 10. And I was like, really? That's it?
That's it? He
And he's like,
that's it?
and I'm like, well, does it hurt your heart? And he's like, nah, unless you do too much. And I'm like, okay. Like, whatever.
Dr. Nigel over here.
Yeah, Dr. Nigel.
I'll just do a little bit off this girl's ass. It'll be
Ass.
fine.
Yeah, exactly. Dr. N, dude.
All right, Angela's turn. Best drug story.
Oh, I thought that was gonna kind
Wow,
of.
good job. Wow.
There goes the boom.
Well, there's one time I snorted some coke and I fucked this girl and that was it.
Nice, good job.
I'm like
How old were
disgusted
you?
by that story right now.
Craziest drug story. There's a lot. The first one probably be when I accidentally I bought some coke off of fucking one of my kitchen managers at the time. And he told me, he said, this is going to be the same thing you usually snort. And I go, okay. I snorted it, and it burnt my nose so bad. It burned it so bad. Next thing you know, I was up for 3 days. And within those 3 days, I managed to fuck a few girls. And then on another
I have a fun drug story.
thing...
that I want to share because I don't know if he remembers.
To get a little more depressing, I was so fucked up that I had like a psychological breakdown that like to the point where I couldn't go to sleep. So I tried so hard to go to bed that when I couldn't, after the second day, I fucking straight up, I remember, do you know when you get up too fast? You get up too fast and you see like darkness like roll in this way. It was the same thing, but I didn't get up too fast. I was just sitting in my bedroom and it happened and I thought I was going to die. And so I almost ran into my aunt's room and I said, hey, can you please call like an ambulance? But I said, you know what, fuck that. I don't want anybody to know that I'm doing anything. I don't want anybody to know that I'm doing drugs, you know?
Yeah.
So when that happened, I screamed. I said, please don't, I want to die. I don't want to die. I didn't end up dying. But, yeah.
Angela, sorry. Do you remember going to my coworker party at Fiano's, and then we went to Celeste's?
Stop
Xanax.
dropping names.
It's okay. She's probably dead now. All right, I'm gonna stop dropping names. I promise. Remember that, and then
Let's just call her CL. I don't know her
At
last
that
name.
one
I'm just
restaurant
going.
you worked at.
Yeah, that one restaurant.
And then-
Fiano's.
remember when I texted you like the next day and you didn't answer? The next day, and then I called you, and then you're like, "Dude, I haven't woken up since we were together that night." You passed out.
So I guess it's fair to say that I've had a couple times where it's like not chill.
It's not chill.
No, that was the after that time I never will do Xanax ever again in my life because I blacked out for 3 days straight, and once I finally came to, even my aunt was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, I was like, "Why?" She's like, "Cause you've been like a zombie the last 4 days. Like you straight up like you'll go to work, you'll come back, but you don't talk to me, you don't say anything." I guess I can compare it to like triple C's. Almost. You know what I mean? Like
Triple C's, bro. The fuck is
But
that?
triple C's are like more functional.
This is so disgusting.
Dude,
but anyways,
yeah.
last story. The LSD one. Me, I do not fuck with shrooms. I don't fuck with those types of things. I don't fuck with
Like the psilocybin
I don't
type
fuck with
drugs, the
hallucinogens,
DMT.
man. I don't like not being controlled. Like I won't lie to you, my favorite drug if I had one is cocaine. For sure, because I am at least in control of the way
Sure.
that I feel for at least a little while before I max out and I'm like, dude, like I don't feel good anymore. You know, like
Yeah.
and the people that I get it from are like straight from like the cartel and shit. You know what I mean? Like
I always wanted to try cocaine, but at the time in my life where I was gonna try cocaine, I was hella young, and then it just didn't happen. And then now that I'm where I'm at, I'm like, I was offered cocaine like recently, and I was like, I'll pass. Like I'm chilling.
Now.
it's not overrated, it's underrated.
I like still like.
That's the
it's
drug you snort and you good for like 2 hours.
2 hours, okay, that's ideal. But like, I don't know.
2
For me,
For you,
I'm, like,
for you,
so
first time
concerned.
you good. No, first time you good.
Dude, not
Yeah.
2 hours.
Grant, I don't know what kind of cocaine you're
Wait,
getting.
you're telling me if you do one line, you're good for 2 hours.
Me? No.
One.
No, but
One.
anyone. Like, even the first time I did it when I was 19.
45 minutes.
30, I think.
38.
Good coke. If it's good cocaine, at least
32
an hour.
minutes. 32 minutes.
At least an hour.
If it's good cocaine.
I'll take that. I don't know if I've ever done good cocaine, but
No, you haven't.
I gotta assure you, you've forgiven me like the worst cocaine I've ever had in my entire life.
That's happened before.
Grant, that may or may not have been meth. I don't know.
We're just gonna put that out there.
Yeah. Like,
Hey, we've been there.
that
We've
probably
all-
wasn't cocaine.
Hey, we've all
How long were you
accidentally
up after
done
that, is
meth
my
once
question.
or twice, okay?
I did not go to sleep. I didn't go to sleep. I went to class the next morning and just like fucking like my eyes were all fucked up and I was just like, all right.
I am here.
I am here. I'm going to leave and sleep for 3 days.
Yes.
Anyways. I'm sorry, Grant, but that probably wasn't cocaine.
I'm sorry.
I was at a very bad place in my life.
I think I know.
Okay, here's the real question. If I needed cocaine, can I count on you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
For sure.
Grant, shut the fuck up.
Grant, at that time in my life, you couldn't count on me. But
But
at this
today,
point in my life, I would never do
Today,
that.
At this point.
And they wouldn't be charging you. Maybe with the pandemic, like 70
there's an
or
extra
80
service
bucks.
fee.
Yeah, like maybe a little bit more.
it's
but
not about the price, it's about the quality. I don't care. I'll pay whatever.
You know,
well, no, it's true, bro. The cartel's being squeezed just as much as everybody else with this shit. Like,
With the pandemic. Hey,
yeah.
even the cartels on the
yeah,
fucking...
like everybody's got to raise their
Hey,
prices.
everybody's on the
everything.
on the brink of losing their business, all
You gotta wear a
right?
mask when you go to pick up.
Yeah, you gotta wear your
Uh,
mask when you're cutting lines and shit. It is what it is.
Anyways, now that Cruz is here, I was telling them. Yeah, I was telling them earlier that I had a weird experience. The girl that I'm with currently, we were kind of friends off and on. Like, I didn't take into consideration that I liked her very much, and I didn't want to come to those feelings. But she gave me like a breath mint. It was like a spearmint. Like, what are those? What is that brand?
Like an Altoid or
Like an Altoid or something.
Mentos.
But it was smaller, with the
Mentos.
smaller ones.
Tic Tac.
No, not a Tic Tac. It's a little bit bigger. Has like the green spots on it, but it's white. A little circle.
No,
this
or
important?
Altoids. I think Altoids.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
Altoids were like white. And they
I had
were
it. I
just
had it
stuff
for
on
like a year. And you know, she'd always tell me like, don't fuck around like that. It's twice dripped, so it's not just one thing. Like it's twice dripped, so I mean it's gonna be a harder trip. Which I didn't have any idea what the fuck that meant. You know? I was a dumbass kid who was fucked up all the time. So I got drunk one night, and I put on kaleidoscopes. On YouTube, like funny, like cool little like lights and stuff. And I said, "Fuck it, let's Russian roulette it. Like I'm gonna eat it. If I get fucked up, I get fucked up. If I don't, I don't." I ate it. Let me just tell you, if you are not prepared to be on like a fucking 10-hour trip of like psychedelics, do not fucking do it. Because that was one of the, like, it was great because, like I told you guys, that was the time in my life where after I was done with it, I was sober for like 6 to 8 months. But it was the craziest thing ever because life itself was not normal. Like, when I would look around, I ate it, everything was funny, and I would, like, chill there and, like, laugh about everything that was going on. And next thing you know, I had a giant poster in my room that said, "Down with my demons." And it's like a demon hand shaking a normal hand, and it just started getting, like, twisted and, like it was as if the pain, it was, like, speaking to me. And what I always tell people is, like, obviously at that point in my life, I was not down with my demons, bro. Like, I was not ready to face that type of thing. Like, it was
Shake their
not,
hands yet.
yeah, it was not cool at all, man. And then, like, my clock was melting. I did not know what to do, so I called my cousin. He goes, "Hey, I'm gonna bail you out." He's like, "I'm gonna bail you out. I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna go over to your aunt's house, and we're gonna do this and that, whatever." Picks me up, and we go to a fucking car wash. And the next thing you know, like, I was telling him that I wished I wanted to be this, like, little fucking drop of water in the car wash. It was crazy. It was the craziest thing in my entire life. And then afterwards, when I came sober, like, I just started crying for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And I said, I never want to be that fucked up ever again in my life. Because that shit took me for a ride that I was not ready for. Yeah, and it takes you on a psychological ride more so than anything. Like, maybe I could have taken the, like,
visuals, but like the psychological ride, like you have flashbacks of like when you're younger and like the things you see, things you don't even think you remember, things that you don't think is gonna happen when you take those things. Like it was so fucking weird to me that I'd never ever want to experience that ever again in my fucking life. I would never wish that on anybody in my life, because what I took from it was I wasn't ready to face the things that I thought I was ready to face. You know what I mean?
Well, do you think it was good for you though to have faced those at the time?
Yes.
That time in your
Yeah,
life.
because that's what made me go sober for 6 to 8 months. Man.
Well, see, that's the thing though, is that like it's like on the one hand, you wouldn't wish that on anyone.
But
It's
at
almost
the
like
same
if
time it was so beneficial.
exactly like it's like
it was so family oriented. That's what made it uncomfortable for me. It wasn't a cool trip. Like it wasn't like a I'm doing this because it's fun
You didn't
and
really
it's
know
cool.
Well,
either
that
it
just-
was gonna happen.
it
You
made
were
me-
sort of assuming it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, it made me like really understand and think about like, what the fuck am I doing here, bro? Like, what the fuck is going on with my life? Like, why do I feel like this? Why?
Well, it sounds like the most important demons you had to conquer were the demons that had to do with your own thoughts with your family.
Exactly, for sure.
Like the classical story, like when the knights of Arthur's Round Table were trying to find Excalibur for him, they were sent out to find it, and the place that they were supposed to go was the place in the forest that looked darkest to them. So
That-
really what that means is the darkest corner of their mind.
That
So in
literally
order
makes me
to-
want to do it. Like your story made me want to do acid more. I feel
See,
like.
but you're the weird type that it might be like it'd probably be really cool for you, but for me, like I didn't face a lot of fucked up shit that had happened to me in my life. So like,
Yeah.
even though I thought I did, I didn't really mentally face it. Like I wasn't really sitting there face to face with it and going, hey man, this is what's fucked up with your life, and like you need to fix this. That's what that did to me. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, that makes
for
me.
you, it might be a little bit different. That might be an enjoyable thing for you because like my girl, like she's like, oh, shrooms and like that kind of shit was so cool. Like for me, every time I did shrooms, it was so demonic and it was so fucking crazy. I did shrooms 2 times before I did LSD, and the shroom moment was fucking crazy, bro. And I did DMT. I've done DMT too. I smoked DMT, and like it was DMT out of all those things was the greatest thing ever. DMT. It's shorter, but
Do
it
you
feels
do you
like
I'm asking for a friend. Do you still have a hook for that?
DMT?
Yeah.
I could ask.
Yeah,
You
I'll
know who
I'll,
to ask.
I'll tell my friend.
What are you looking to get out of it?
I don't know. I'd have to ask my friend.
You guys want me to go into the DMT thing?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yeah,
So
what
check
do you
it.
wanna do?
DMT is probably one of the like I would recommend that to anybody. Like
You would.
I would. And I don't like psychedelics. My cousin, he had a video of me from the longest time smoking it. The way it happened was I showed up was fucked up. I had a long night somewhere. I don't even know where I was at. I came to my cousin's house and he goes, hey, my buddy has DMT. And it looked like a crack pipe, bro. He had a fucking, it was clean. It was a clean
Yeah.
crack pipe. He's very intellectual, very involved with like psychology, stuff
Hey,
like
they're
that.
cheap at the smoke
And he
shop.
looks at me and he goes, hey man, like I'd be willing to let you smoke it, like if you're down. And my cousin looks at me and he goes, do you want to smoke DMT? And I go, bro, when's the next time I'm gonna get a chance to smoke some fucking DMT?
Yeah.
And so this happens. He goes, here. I go,
How's does it make you cough? Like when you smoke weed or like smoke something you're not used to smoking, it just like you think you're gonna be able to handle it and you're like was there any of that or
nah, wasn't any of that.
just smooth?
The biggest thing I gotta explain to you is that you're and believe me or fucking not, your soul is projected into a weird universe, bro. Like, and I like. I'm not someone who's like a pushover. Like you don't have to tell. Like if you're my friend, you don't have to convince me that they're like. I'm not gonna believe you if you tell me there's life outside of Mars or whatever. Like I'm not gonna sit here and just believe you for no reason. You have to have evidence. You know what I mean? Like that's the way that I am. When I hit that, the video was only for 20, 30 seconds, but in my head it was like at least 7 minutes or 8 minutes of like. Once I hit the back of my head like this, it felt like my soul was projected into the fucking universe, bro. Like, it felt like it was projecting the universe. I felt like there was these weird beings. There was green, and there was these weird, like, dimensional shapes.
but it was an overwhelming sense of like I felt good. Like I felt very, very good. It was not a negative feeling whatsoever. It just felt like I knew where I was supposed to be, and these people were looking at me like, "Why are you here right now?"
Like a dissolution of the ego.
Yeah, like
why
why
you don't even exist anymore.
But it was even more than that. Like, you know when you go to like a Hot Topic or like a Spencer's and you see their poster boards and they go like psychedelic poster boards or whatever, you realize why people like those things once you do something like that. Yeah, I look at them and the shapes and like the things that are going on in that type of headspace is very crazy. Like, I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like all these people thought I was interrupting their meeting. Like, it looked like people standing on a, like, you know when Senate comes to, like, that weird board where it has a speaker? It felt like I came to the middle of that, but with a whole bunch of fucking aliens, bro. Like, a whole bunch of fucking aliens looking down on me, being like, dude, this guy's not supposed to be here. Like, how did he get here? Mm-hmm. So after that, like, in my honest opinion, I felt like, whether you believe in God or not, there's something else. Dude, there's no reason why my brain went to a place like that. Like, whether it be drugs or not, I don't care what you think, but, like, it was an overwhelming sense of, like, once I woke up, I felt good. Like, I felt like I understood what the fuck is going on. I was like, dude, there's so much shit going on, like, past what we think. Like, whether it be God or the universe, whatever you want to think about, like, there's so many other things that are going on. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I don't think like that. Like, I'm not the type of person to fucking sit here. Are you making fun of me?
You're just looking so intently into Cruz's eyes while you tell this story to all of us.
Oh. Yeah, dude, give me some attention.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna have to hook you up with my friend.
Oh my god.
Anyways, my friend might want to get that relationship going.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to talk to my friend, but he'd probably feel the same way.
You might want to link up.
Okay, so
Cruz's crazy
Grant-
drug story. Grant gave his.
Well, did you go yet?
No, you're next. It was Grant.
I'll go
Angelo,
last.
Cruz.
I'll go last.
Whatever. I ain't done a lot of drugs. I'm pretty scared of them. I know what it can do to people. I know how easy it is to be addicted to substances and whatnot, and blah 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 blah.
Okay, so you're boring. My turn.
Hey,
Another beer.
it was your turn. All right, get beers. No, I've never really experimented with a lot of drugs. In my opinion, I think that the hardest thing I've tried, it was only pills. Like, what did we try? Like triple C's. That's fucking disgusting. I've done like
even when I was younger, when they were talking about triple C's, I'm like, bro, I can't do triple C's.
Bruh, that shit was wild. Like, I remember one
We
time
have to
we were on a
swallow, like, 12
drive.
pills, and you're like, all right, really, just to feel something?
Bro, it takes like 12 pills.
Yeah,
It's
and
fucking
it's
disgusting,
like, am I gonna die?
bro.
Like,
Okay, and not only do you take like 12 pills of triple C's.
yeah, Cruz over here,
Oh,
like, I take
no.
20.
Nah, triple C's are fucking crazy. I've done Norcos a couple of times, just like an unprescribed amount to get high, whatever. But I feel like the craziest time I had on drugs was one time when I was like 14, which is when I did a bunch of fucked up shit in my life. And I just
It's
got
crazy because I didn't do a lot of fucked up shit in my life until I was like older.
It's crazy.
I
Because
just-
if I recall, that's when you lost your virginity. No, I'm just kidding.
That was me, yes. that was my story. I don't know. When I was around 14, I was of this mindset that I wouldn't live past 18 anyways. So who cares what I did, or it didn't matter what I did. I just didn't want to fucking be anymore anyways. But anyways, I had to be at least 14 or something. And we had a handful of people over at my house, and we were taking these nasty gravity bong hits. Like, I don't know if y'all ever done a gravity bong.
I did. I threw up.
Okay, somebody
I don't
give me.
smoke weed.
Oh,
So.
right, fair enough.
Only DMT.
Okay, when you hit a gravity bong, what type of gravity bong? What did you use? What were the
It was
material?
a giant tub of water, and then it was literally a soda carton that you cut the bottle
like
off
a 2
Yeah.
liter or like a liter
a
bottle.
2 liter, and then you like
Yeah, straight
you
up.
torched the top
Yeah,
of it, and then
okay,
you like
straight up,
gradually
same.
brought it up, and then just
Okay,
into your membrane.
same. That's what I did. It was a
Yeah.
like a bucket of water,
It
like
was-
a
it was
Home
like-
Depot bucket.
Yeah, it was like the ice tub chest
Like
kind of thing.
like a
yeah.
like one of those orange Home Depot buckets that your softball coach sits on, or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. I play softball. Whatever. One of those buckets with the fucking like 2 liter or whatever
Yeah.
liter bottle, like soda bottle, and yeah, it took this fucking nasty ass hit, and I just remember being like, bro, like I was so fucked up. It was at night, so all the lights were off, and I was sitting in the living room in my house, and I was just sitting there on the couch, and I just remember seeing all these people just dancing, not just regular dancing. It was ballroom dancing. Like, have you ever seen Anastasia, like the cartoon?
Yeah,
Anastasia,
yeah.
you know when all the ghosts come in that scene?
Yeah.
That's what I was witnessing. I was just like,
Cinderella in
And
your
I'm
fucking
like,
living room.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the dude I lost my virginity to was there. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't fucking remember. Maybe his friends were. I don't fucking know. It was that crowd of people who were obviously not good people for me to be around. And then there was this picture that I had in my like hallway, and then it eventually became in my bedroom. But it was like this picture of a zebra, and it was like it had like neon pink border with a black frame and just a zebra, and like. Dude, everything just came to life. Like, it was just fucking marijuana, but I was so fucked up on it that I
Marijuana
was
can be
just
strong, dude.
I was just watching all this shit happen to me, and I was like,
Marijuana.
dude, at 14, I was just like, there is more to this life than what I see, than what I live day to day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what put me to the position that I was of, like, as much as I want to die, I'm not going to take my own life because it's going to end at some point, and I at least want to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, see where the shit goes.
I might as well just see what'll happen. You know what I mean? Let me just see what's gonna happen, and what happens happens. And like, there's definitely times when like you get like really high or whatever, and you're like, you feel like you're gonna fucking die of a heart attack, and you're like, I ain't gonna die, but like this is fucked up, and you just sit there like, fuck, like this is fucked up. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
Like,
I don't
I'm gonna
have
get
that many
through
crazy
this
drug
because no one's
stories.
ever died of weed ever, but like I think I might be the first.
Straight up, straight up.
Yeah, I'd probably be the first person who ever died of a weed overdose. I want to know what's weird is that everybody here, like, I'm probably the person, like, I don't fuck with weed at all. Like,
Fucks
at
you
all.
up. Some
I
people
can't do it.
Can't do it.
I can't do it, man. I
That's
cannot
fair.
do it. Weed to me, like, if I smoke weed, even like if, like, yeah, my girl loves weed, but to me, like, if I smoke weed, even if it's just like a little bit more than what I should have, like, I regret doing it almost instantly.
It's either hit or miss. I feel like, and I probably shouldn't say this, but like, I definitely love weed, man. Like, I like to get stoned and whatever, and like, but there's definitely been too many times where I've gotten too high and like had a bad time. I've thrown up plenty of times from smoking weed. One time in my mom's house, I came home, like, I had to call, hey, my dad wasn't there for a lot of shit, but the one time I had to have him pick me up from some elementary school parking lot or whatever, because I was way too stoned, he did come pick me up, so that was grateful. He helped me climb over the fence to get back in the car and shit. And I remember getting home, and I, like, got out of the car, and I, like, barely fucking crawled out of the car and, like, made it just to where the grass hit after the sidewalk. Just threw up fucking... not hot Cheetos, but you know those Taki chips, the Fuego flavored Takis?
Yeah, fuck those.
All I had that day was...
I feel like those are a
Dougie,
lot worse.
Dougie, all I had were those Takis. Dude, heartburn. All I had were those Takis and a red Gatorade. And I threw that shit up at the school and then at home, and then I slept for like 2.5 days. And then I woke up for some KFC, and then I went back to sleep. But like, you know what I mean? I still like me some marijuana, but I've definitely had some bad times.
You should be the spokesperson.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've had 2 of those experiences, and I'm like, I don't like it anymore. I don't like
Yeah,
it
you're
anymore.
like, this isn't for me.
Yeah, I don't like it as much for sure. Like the gravity bong was like the first introduction where
Gravity
I'm
bongs are wrong.
like, fuck, this is
Wrong.
bad. And then
Wrong.
I did an edible like 2 years later where I'm like, fuck, that's also bad.
Also a bad time.
We're definitely hitting a gravity bong after this.
If you're down, I do have one set up.
We actually do it every night now. All right,
No.
Cruz, tell us your story,
Here's
man.
the story.
We've been going a long time, so I do want to wrap this shit up. And I don't have any good stories, so I'm going to break it down.
Yeah, you do.
And I hate to be like this. I'll make them quick.
I'm gonna make it a simple 7-part story.
I got 3 stories based on 3 different drugs. So the first one,
All right.
this is the quickest one, is an unnamed friend going by the name KM really wanted me to take Xanax with him. So we took Xanax in 6-period Spanish and then went our separate ways. He went home. I went back to mine. But that's the thing, is his parents drove me home that day. And to give some context, a couple weeks before that, he had stolen a bottle of liquor from his parents' liquor cabinet. And we had drank it and got drunk on that. So it was my turn to steal from my parents. So our Xanaxed out selves went inside. Because I was going home and he came inside with me. And his dad was like, stepdad was like, why do you need to go inside with him? He's like, oh, like, just cuz. And then our Xanax out fucking minds, I like stole a full unopened bottle of liquor from my parents' liquor cabinet, handed it over to him. We're like, well, like, you can't just walk out with this. Like, what are you gonna do? It's like, put it in a shirt. So I gave him a shirt to wrap it, so he's walking out with a bottle,
like a fucking baby bottle.
a bottle of liquor. So that's as far as I know. So I just go to bed. I guess the next day at school, they pull me out in the middle of lunch and I have to go to the principal's office because I guess him and his dad got in a fist fight when they got home because his dad confronted him about stealing liquor. And he ended up throwing the fucking liquor bottle at the wall.
Jose?
No, stop saying names.
An unnamed friend going by KM. That's it. That's all you need to know.
All right.
So that's story number 1. So if you haven't gleaned it by now, kids, don't do Xanax.
So just so you know, I'm eating shrooms right now. So all those names, I don't know what I'm talking about.
This guy.
Pleading the
Nobody
fifth for
do
real.
Xanax, though. Straight up, don't do that shit.
Don't do
unless it's
Xanax. Don't do
prescribed
Vicodin.
by
I have
your
a Vicodin
therapist.
story that's very similar. I'll even tell the Vicodin. It's a fourth bonus story for you. I took some Vicodin from a friend who had a broken arm. He had extra Vicodin. He gave it to me also in 6th period Spanish.
Okay, your Spanish teacher was too lax.
Yeah, she was. I'll call her.
Was it Senorita Ralph?
Shut the fuck up.
Oh,
man.
fuck!
You're
I do mean that.
You fucking rat!
You're a rat.
Dude, I meant Senor Ralph.
I was going to say she'll go by the initials SR.
Oh, man, this is not getting posted.
Okay.
I can cut it.
You got it? Okay, anyway.
You need to cut
So
it.
bonus story. I took some Vicodin, I went home, I started playing guitar, and I fell asleep. The only thing I remember from that night is mid-dinner. I don't remember going to dinner. I don't remember going to bed after dinner. But mid-dinner, just shoveling chili dogs down my mouth. So that's your bonus story. Don't do Vicodin. Don't do Xanax. Don't do
Third
it.
story. What do we got?
Second, right?
Okay, so the second one
I
is
thought that
going
was
to
the
be.
second.
That was a bonus.
There was a bonus
Oh,
one. So
okay.
4. So it's 4 total
That's
now.
1.5.
Basically, one story is
Yes.
pills. The second story is salvia. I've done salvia twice in my life. Both were in the same night. So the first time I smoked salvia was at a bonfire, and me and some buddies. Also, I won't confirm nor deny whether it's the same friend by the name of KM.
Sounds like Cam's a fucking.
So we went behind some
Oh my
dumpsters
god.
at the local state beach. I'll just call it DB. DSB. DSB. So we smoked some salvia behind some dumpsters. And it just happened, by happenstance, that right when we were smoking salvia, that's when the local police were rolling the bonfire because of underage kids getting intoxicated. So really what was going on was just some like local state police were driving up on the situation.
And
that was
everyone
it.
just freaking out.
But in my head, what was going on, because there was flashlights, so there's all these flashlights from these state patrollers or whatever. I think that there's literally in my head, there's helicopters above us and people rappelling down off like rope ladders, coming down and like busting us. And obviously I wasn't wholly there, but basically what happened is I kept walking up to my friends and going like, hey dude, we're getting rolled, dude. Hey, get the fuck away from me. Get the fuck away from me. Angelo. Dude, come on. Get the fuck away from me. Get the fuck. So I basically went back and forth between being, I basically thought my friends were
Hell of a
the people
drug,
that
dude.
could help
Hell of
me.
a drug.
Yeah. My friends were the ones who could help me, but they were also the ones coming. It was like the Soviet Union. You know? I don't know what the fuck was going on. So later that night, of course, because I had such a good experience with salvia, we had a little bit left over. So me and some friends, I'll just call him CL or her. Call her CL.
Oh my god.
We're sitting on their bed, and we smoked some salvia. And basically, you ever see those movies where you see the person like
Animated.
they're falling in a
Yeah.
bottomless pit, and then the bottomless pit turns out to be their mouth, and then like they're the one falling through their own mouth.
Yeah.
That was me for about like 15, 20 minutes, however long it was. And then the whole time, basically, in reality, what happened is that I smoked salvia. I was like, and that was me for about 15 minutes.
That sounds about right.
Okay, so that's story number 2. That's salvia. And now the best for last. The fun, because I think the original point of this conversation was your funniest drug stories.
Yeah.
Worst. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm going with
I don't
funniest.
remember. Funniest.
Worst, funniest, or
The
usually
funniest drug
yeah.
story, and you know what? This is actually the second time I've told this story because the first time was on your podcast. Well, previously. your
Always
podcast.
hungover.
Always hungover.
Probably hungover.
Oh, probably hungover.
Always hungover.
Funniest
Well,
fucking story that I've had with a drug. In this case, it's alcohol.
Oh,
Is it-
shit.
I went.
well, there'd be a lot of
No.
there's a lot of people here who would argue that alcohol is not a drug.
But it is.
And I have a word for them. They're called alcoholics.
Alcohol.
No, alcoholics quit. We don't quit. Yeah, it's called alcoholism.
It's a lifestyle choice.
It's a lifestyle choice, yo. Shout out my mama, dude.
Hey, you're out there. Alcohol. That's why I was born.
Hey, if this goes
Maybe meth
viral,
too.
it's because of alcohol.
Whatever.
Shout out Proper 12. McGregor, come over here, dude. You know where the money's right. Let's get it.
This podcast was sponsored by Proper 12, meth, and salvia.
All right.
And some LSD.
So the funniest story that I have with a drug, which in this case is alcohol, is I was at a local bar. I'm not even going to abbreviate it. It was Hennessy's bar. In,
There's multiple, so it doesn't matter.
exactly. So Hennessy's bar.
All in California.
And I
South
went.
County.
Yeah.
I went to the bathroom, and who other than one of my best friends in the world is pissing in the stall, and I'm pissing. I start pissing in the stall next to him, and for whatever reason, we're both drunk as shit. We've been there drinking a lot, and like, I look at him, he looks at me. We're both looking at each other pissing, and we just start laughing. We're like. We just can't stop laughing, pissing next to each other, right? And then the guy. Little do we know, there's a guy shitting in the stall next to us. There's one stall, 2 urinals, so the whole bathroom's full. And the guy's like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, why are you guys? What are you guys laughing about?" And then my buddy's like, "Dude, like this is my best friend. Like I'm pissing next to my best friend." And then the guy's like, "Yeah, is that true?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't fucking know this guy." And so then my friend next to me is like, "Dude, come on! Like, what are you talking about? Like we're best friends, dude. Like, why are you lying to this guy?" I'm like, "Hey, guy in the stall, like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, this guy's just like looking at my dick and laughing. Like, I'm laughing because he's laughing. You know, like I don't know what the fuck's going on." So then my friend is like, "Yo, I bet you $100. I've known this guy for years." And the guy's like, "Yeah, I'll take that bet." And I'm like, "Dude, I've never seen you in my fucking life, dude. This is the first time I've ever seen you." So then my friend, he basically corners me. So I go to, I'm done pissing at this point. I wash my hands. My friend fucking boxes me up against the wall. He's like, "Dude, this guy is gonna owe us $100. I'll split it with you. I bet him $100 that I know you. Like, and if you just agree that I know you, I'll split it. We'll both get $50. I'm like, "Dude, fucking leave me alone, man. Like, I don't know you. Leave me fucking alone." So the guy in the fucking stall is laughing his ass off, just like, "Dude, leave that guy alone. Why are you fucking harassing this guy?" So literally, the wall is like this, and like when the door opens, it like kind of traps you in the wall, and my buddy is fucking like hands on me, trapping me in the corner, and somebody opens the door. So now we're trapped in between, and the guy sticks his head around and sees this guy. We both look. He looks at us, my buddy trapping me in the corner. He goes, "Ugh." It's just leaves. So basically, I got sexually assaulted in a bathroom, and I've made a funny story.
Was
out
he
of
your
it.
best friend or no?
I'll tell you right now, honest to God, Grant, I've never seen that guy in my life. I haven't seen him since, and I never got $50 from either of those guys. And that's the funniest story I have.
Well, just for you voters who are listening, that's Biden's America.
Well, folks, that brings us to the end of the story. About wraps her all up.
Oh, I'm getting out of the corner.
It was a pretty good story, don't you think? Made me laugh to beat the band. Parts of it, anyways. I didn't like seeing Donnie go. Then I know there's a little Sottosanti on the way. I guess that's just the way the good old American comedy makes its way across the generations. Across the sands of time, westward the wagons. Oh, look at me. I'm rambling again. I'll catch you folks a little on later down the trail. Hey, friend. Got any more of that good old sarsaparilla? Till next time, folks.
Trump 2020.